button and you're going live. Do you mind if I use the sound effects?
No, go ahead.
Okay, because they make battle sounds. Which is kind of
Well, yeah.
I it's all kind of confusing. But I have a Mech Warrior game set. Is that a subcategory of BattleTech?
Yes. So, as originally published,
but Robotech is not BattleTech,
no,
not Mech Warrior.
That's different. Yes, Mech Warrior and BattleTech go together. They're with the same publisher, FOSSA Corporation, up until around the turn of the millennium, and then now it's with Catalyst Game Labs, who are owned by Topps, the baseball card people.
Is the Robotech game is Topps?
No. That's BattleTech. Robotech is currently being done by Battlefield Press. And they've just launched their game. It hasn't even come out in print yet. It's only PDF now. And it's good. I like it anyway. It uses the Savage Worlds engine. So the old Palladium engine is interesting.
It's interesting that the Palladium engine, which I believe is also behind Rifts.
Yep.
Yes.
Works better. Doesn't work nearly as well as the Savage Worlds engine for the same properties.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, I wish I had a piece of glass, but then that would probably create a reflection.
Yeah, well, that's something a lot of BattleTech players do with these maps. You put the plexi down, and then you can write on it.
Yeah, you can draw.
So, like, if someone misses here and sets these trees on fire, you can write that the trees are on fire, and then draw in the smoke and
Got a piece of glass.
all that
right
other
there,
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there is something in here in the office that would flatten that suddenly. Because just a little bit of flattening helps.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to try folding it.
Yeah, we could counterfold it.
Tape it.
I don't know about taping. We could counterfold it. I wish, if I had the budget, Catalyst makes these beautiful battle mats that are made out of, like, coaster material, like mouse pad material. And
Right.
they're huge.
Nice.
They're beautiful. Although, I learned a new trick for making gaming maps at North Texas RPG Con. Frog God Games has decided to start making maps using a shower curtain manufacturer that will do custom shower curtains for you. So they upload the maps and have them printed on shower curtains, and now you have this tablecloth with a map on it.
Yeah.
So they made one for Bunnies and Burrows, which Dennis, obviously, they did one for this new module, Crypt of the Science Wizard, and then they did a 4 shower curtain map of the old Tegel Manor module from Judge's Guild.
I played in that, actually.
And so, yes, it was bigger than this table, all 4 of the shower curtains laid out, and the DM took his shoes off and was walking back and forth across the map all night. It was pretty cool.
Moving figs around, huh?
Yeah.
With the fixed 28mm?
Oh, yeah.
Well, number 2 will mount.
So it was kind of a actual size with the miniatures. It was pretty cool.
Sweet.
Wow.
All right, guys. So today is Mech Warrior Training Part 2, and I forgot, I did not get around to answering that question. Mech Warrior and BattleTech are part of the same property, but Mech Warrior is the role-playing element. Your pilot, is not always in the mech. Sometimes, especially if you're playing mercenaries, you're making deals, you're setting up contracts. Your ex-girlfriend is out to kill you, which happened in one of our Mech Warrior games. So Mech Warrior is the role-playing game. BattleTech is the tactical miniatures game. And most of the folks I play with find this a lot more interesting when there's a story set up to go with it. It's fun to sit the miniatures out and blow the crap out of each other, but it's more fun when you know why. And, you can set up, arch enemies and stuff. So what we're going to do tonight is learn the full rules to BattleTech. Last time we did this, and I realized Jim was here. None of the other 3... Were you here for Beginner Box? You were here for Beginner Box.
Yeah, we won.
That's right. So we did a 2-on-2.
Headshot.
So what we can do tonight is another 2-on-2, or we can do a 4-on-me. However you guys want to do it.
2-on-2 sounds good.
Sure, let's do it. So,
Flip versus the
rest of
the peasants.
Okay, this side versus this side. All right, so let me explain how the game works in as quick a manner as possible, however succinctly. This is a game of armored combat. That is the title on the box. The idea is that you are piloting a battle mech. That battle mech may well be 2-3 centuries old because great-great-grandma was part of the Star League Army and didn't leave when the rest of the army took off. So she came home with the 65-ton walking tank, planted a flag, and said, "All this is mine." So mech warriors are very much like knights. I equate the role-playing game to Pendragon a lot because you're not just this pilot. By virtue of owning this mech, your family is low nobility. possibly even high nobility. But you've got all these responsibilities outside of just being a giant robot pilot and bringing home the bacon. And if you lose your mech, your family is then dispossessed. You no longer have the thing that puts you in that social slot. So a lot of board gamers will play this game until the last mech drops, but if you are in a role-playing bent and thinking like the character, once your mech starts getting torn up, you want to think about withdrawing or calling for terms, because nobody wants to lose their mech. And if you're fighting over the water purification plant on the edge of this lake, it might just get to the point where that's too costly, and you're like, okay, you can have it, we're done. Then you have to worry about the consequences of losing it. If you're a mercenary, you've just lost your contract. But, there's role-playing elements to it. There are 4 classes of battle mech. The light battle mechs are the little ones. They run up to 35 tons in weight. They are generally much faster.
Do you have models for them?
I do.
Yeah, let's check them out.
These are the light battle mechs that come in the Game of Armored Combat box. And they range from 20 tons, like this Locust, up to 35 tons, which would be an upper end light. This one's a 25-ton Commando. They tend to be much faster. They tend to be lighter armored. And they tend to have much smaller guns. I will put a caveat on that, not always. There are a couple of light mechs where they cram the biggest gun they possibly can on it, and they tend to be not as mobile, like the urban mech, the trash can with a cannon.
Can you?
Oh, sure. We'll face them toward the camera here.
There you go.
So, light mechs, 20 to 35 tons. They tend to be faster. They tend to be used as scouts. There are some exceptions. So these 2 mechs that we're looking at, if you guys decide you want a light mech on your team, we'll split. The Locust is the fastest mech we're going to see on the board tonight. Speed makes you harder to hit. It also has not a lot of armor. And it has a fair amount of firepower for its size if you choose the 1E variant. Battle mechs, much like modern military vehicles, can come in different flavors. Same chassis, they just swap out some equipment. The standard Locust has 1 medium laser and a pair of machine guns. The machine guns are almost but not quite useless against other mechs. What they tear up is infantry. But there's not going to be any infantry on the map tonight. If there were, those machine guns would basically be throwing them into morale checks constantly. So there's 2 variants of the Locust available. And if both teams want a Locust, I do have some spare standees to represent a Locust. The Commando is the other light mech. This one's not quite as fast as the Locust, but it's faster than all of the mechs bigger than it. It mounts a whole lot of missile tubes.
So which one's the Commando?
This is the Commando.
Oh, okay.
The Commando mounts a whole bunch of missile tubes and can do quite a bit of damage, but missiles tend to randomize their damage around the enemy mech. They tend to hit different locations as they spray, kind of like in Macross.
Right.
It has a single medium laser for some solid damage capability, but mostly it's a missile mech. There's another variant here with even more missiles and a flamethrower. Flamethrowers can be fun, again, versus infantry, but you can inflict heat on the enemy mech, and that will become important in a moment when I explain how that works. The medium mechs. Medium mechs go from 40 tons up to 55 tons, and they are the most common mechs in the universe. So these are both Wolverines. One comes with the box we're playing tonight, the other one came with my starter box. This is a Shadowhawk, and this is a Griffin, my wife's favorite mech. So medium mechs tend to be faster than the heavies, slower than the lights. They tend to be right up the middle as far as firepower and armor go. And they're generally a safe choice for a new player looking for something that can do a little of everything. The Griffin here has jump jets, which neither of these light mechs do, interestingly enough. A lot of light mechs have jump jets, but the 2 that they put in the starter box don't. Jump jets mean you can clear terrain a lot more easily. It spoils your aim like an SOB, but it means you can clear terrain much more easily. So the Griffin, right here. Griffin's a 55-tonner. Actually, all of these are. They gave us the Holy Trinity. The Griffin, the Shadowhawk, and the Wolverine are 3 of the most solid designs in the game. Lots of people love them, so they're kind of... So the Griffy, the standard model has a long-range missile 10 rack and a particle cannon. That means it can reach out and touch you almost, but not quite anywhere on this map. The long-range missiles don't scatter quite as much as the short-range missiles. Each short-range missile, when we get to combat, will hit a separate location. LRMs hit in groups of 5, so they'll hit a little more consistently. But that particle cannon is the largest single damage-dealing weapon you'll see tonight. It does 10 points of damage, 18 hexes away. It generates a whole lot of heat, which we'll get to in a second, but the Griffin is a solid damage dealer at range. The Griffin 1S is a slightly different modification that drops the particle cannon down to a heavy laser. You lose a little range, you lose a little damage, but it adds a pair of medium lasers in there for more close-up protection. The problem with long-range lasers and particle cannons is a rule called minimum range. You remember the scene in Hunt for Red October where the torpedo misses because it's within its arming distance? Same thing with these weapons. A mech with a long-range missile rack is inside its minimum range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out to here. This is minimum range for the missiles. Doesn't mean you can't hit, it just means it gets increasingly difficult the closer you get. Particle cannons have a 3-hex minimum range. So the stock Griffin tends to be in trouble when something gets in its face. The S-model Griffin solves that problem by changing the weapons around a little bit. The Shadowhawk, jack of all trades, master of none. The Shadowhawk has a weapon for every range. Unfortunately, none of them hit particularly hard. It has an autocannon on it. It has a small pack of short-range missiles, a small pack of long-range missiles, and a single medium laser. So it's effective no matter where the enemy is, unless they're just completely out of range. It just doesn't hit very hard. The Shadowhawk is fairly mobile. It's got jump jets as well, and has pretty good armor coverage. The Wolverine is this next mech. The Wolverine has the same movement profile as these other two. Actually, the Shadowhawk's jumping range is a little less. But the Wolverine is average speed for a medium. The standard Wolverine has a medium laser, a 6-pack of those short-range missiles, a large laser, and a medium laser. It's a pretty solid all-around battle mech. It's got good armor. It's got enough heat sinks to use its weapons fairly often. It's not a bad choice. I'm sorry, that's the 6M model. That was like extra laser. Where did that come from? The standard Wolverine has a medium laser, a short-range missile rack, and an autocannon. Either one is a solid choice. The one with the short-range missile rack, the SRM-6, those tend to hunt for holes. Remember how I said the missiles go all over the place? When you punch a hole in an enemy mech, you get to the creamy filling on the inside and start making critical hits. That's when you want to fire those missile spreads, because you increase your chances of potting one of those missiles into the hole and blowing out a knee, or blowing out the gyroscope on the mech, or, the most fun, hitting the ammunition bins. Unlike modern tanks, these particular mechs do not have blowout panels. When the ammo goes, and your mech blows up real good. That's our mediums. We get to our heavies. There are 2 heavies in the basic box, and they are both classics. This is a Catapult, and this is a Thunderbolt. They're both 65 tons. They are both quite slow compared to the other mechs we've looked at tonight. The Catapult comes with jump jets in its standard configuration. So again, slower than the mediums, but the jump jets do help it get where it wants to go. What you want to do with the Catapult is find some trees up on a hill somewhere, because this thing has 2 long-range missile racks that fire 15 missiles every time you pull the trigger. And so it likes to sit on a hill and rain death and destruction on things from a long way away.
Does a hill give you added range?
It doesn't increase your range, but it increases your ability to hit things that are behind other cover.
I see. So it eliminates cover if you have a higher altitude.
Mm-hmm. Basically, what you'll do is for every level, and the levels are printed here on the map so that we don't argue about what level. Thank you, Catalyst, for doing that when the old maps didn't. For every level you are in the air, there's a dead zone. So this is level 1. A mech standing here wouldn't really be able to to see, and then you go out that way. But if you are on a higher level than, say, these trees stand 2 levels high, if you're standing here, your mech adds 2 levels, you're at 3 levels. You could blow over these trees without having to count for the
cover.
Right. Only if the enemy mech was in them or directly behind them would they still get the cover. So elevation helps you eliminate some of those modifiers. The catapult, again, great mech for long range. There is a modified version of the catapult. You lose the jump jets, but you swap the missile racks for 2 particle cannons. It tends to run a little hot when you fire them all the time while moving, but if you stand still, you can just rock them constantly. So again, find some trees with a good field of vision and just blow the crap out of something repeatedly with the particle cannons. Yes, the missiles can do more damage, but the PPCs will land more consistent damage. The Thunderbolt, that's one of my favorite battle mechs. This Thunderbolt, the standard Thunderbolt lacks jump jets, but it is one of the heaviest armored mechs on the field that we're going to see tonight. It also has one of the best weapons packages for all-around mayhem. The Thunderbolt has a long-range missile 15 rack. It has a short-range missile 2-pack, 3 medium lasers, 1 large laser, and a pair of machine guns just to add insult to injury. It's effective at all ranges, and it is hard to kill. Thunderbolts tend to go down hard. You could pour a lot of damage into them, and they just keep coming. It is kind of ponderous compared to the mediums and the lights, but it's a solid choice. The Thunderbolt 5 SE is a modification that drops a lot of the weapons, but adds jump jets. So now you've got a 65-ton mech with jump jets. And it still has a 10-pack long-range missile, 3 medium lasers and a large laser, but it's a lot more mobile. That brings us to the final class of battle mechs. These are the ones that the people who like more DACA will enjoy. These are assault class battle mechs. As big as battle mechs get until the timeline goes crazy and they add more stuff. The Awesome. That's this mech here on the left. The Awesome is slow. It is the slowest mech on the table tonight. Even the other assault mech is faster than the Awesome. The Awesome has a crap ton of armor, and it has 1 small laser and 3 particle cannons. It does not have enough heat sinks to consistently fire all of them all night long, but you can get a pretty good rhythm every 3rd turn. Just fire 2, so 3-3-2, 3-3-2. The Awesome can put a horrific amount of damage downrange, but it's not very mobile. The final mech that we're going to look at is the Battlemaster. That's the one on the right. The Battlemaster has the same speed as the heavy mechs that we were looking at, so it's a little faster than the Awesome. It pays for that, though, in that it's got a huge engine to give it that speed, so its weapons package is not as impressive as you might think. It's nothing to sneeze at, but it's not as it will not put out as much consistent damage as the Awesome will. It's got 4 medium lasers forward, 2 to the rear, and I'll explain why the rear guns can be useful later. It's got a short-range missile 6-pack, a single particle cannon, and a couple machine guns. So the Battlemaster is swift for an assault mech, and it has a good package of different kinds of weapons. But again, it won't hit as hard as the Awesome will consistently.
Which one's the Awesome?
This is the Awesome.
And the other one is
the Battlemaster.
Battlemaster.
So those are the mechs that are available for choosing. And I highly recommend that we split, like each team, if one team has a heavy and a medium, the other team has a heavy and a medium. Which ones? Mix them up. Figure out.
I kind of like the catapult guy with the jumping and the firing from a higher
okay. So let me find the catapult. That is the standard catapult. So this team, do you guys want to pick a mech?
What's our mix here? If we have like a point score.
Well, basically,
kind of like,
in standard 30-25 games, we can do it by tonnage.
Okay.
Once they start adding the high technology that comes in the later books, tonnage doesn't work anymore because the techs off.
Right.
But in a basic game like this, there is a battle value that you can use to match these with higher tech mechs.
So, do we want to come up with a battle value for each team?
We can. What's the catapult got? The battle value would be located right here where it says BV.
1,399. I don't mind an asymmetrical. You don't have to be perfectly balanced. There's a lot of rolling dice that throws.
That's very
odds.
true.
But if we balance it out really well, why don't we put $50 on whoever wins?
What would you?
What was the weight on the assault class?
The assault class mechs are. I'm sorry, I did not mention that. Mediums run from 40 to 55.
Right.
Heavies run from 60 to 75. And assaults are 80 to 100. And there are a few 100-ton mechs, and a lot of them are scary. So, yeah, the Atlas in particular is a scary, scary mech. So, they've got a heavy. What would you guys like to do?
You want to go assault and then...
No,
Overlord
actually,
die?
I was thinking medium.
2 mediums?
No, like a medium and they've got a heavy, maybe a medium and a heavy.
We can.
Yeah. So which one? What would you guys like?
I'm aiming towards the Wolverine.
Wolverine!
And that's a medium.
That's a medium.
That's a medium.
That is a good choice. All right, here are the 2 versions of the Wolverine. So you can pick which one you want to play. This one is the standard one with the medium laser, the SRM-6, and the AC-5. This one has a couple of extra weapons. Let me see what it gives up for that. Armor. It loses a little bit of armor. But it's your choice, and there's the miniature.
I haven't played this game before.
You worried about jump jets, right?
I've got jump jets, and I'm a range guy.
He's got the
You might need
catapult.
somebody
I'll
down
go with
the-
the other hand.
You go with the Thunderbolt?
Yeah.
All right. So there's 2 versions of the Thunderbolt for you to choose from, I believe. The SE from the Aerodani Light Horse and the standard 5S. That's a mercenary unit. Jason.
I will go ahead and take the Shadowhawk.
Shadowhawk. Beautiful. The Shadowhawk 2H.
A weapon for every range, even if the damage is crap.
Yes. All right. So now that you've all got a mech sheet, or once you guys are done choosing, or would you like me to explain the mechanics of the rules and then choose? Because that's fine too. Now that you've got a mech sheet, I will explain how to use one.
Well, yeah.
Because everybody should have a mech sheet in front of them now.
And a pen to mark off your hits.
And can the camera see that if I put that there?
Actually, you can hold it in front of yourself,
Oh, okay.
like that.
All right.
But try to
I'm not carrying
push it
enough
forward a
machine
little
guns
bit.
'cause we're not fighting infantry.
Yeah.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, just to give you an idea, we won't be fighting infantry tonight, but to give you an idea how terrifying, let me see if that will work. Will that work? There it goes.
You got stuff in there that's falling out though.
Yeah, there's a couple dice. But I should be able to get this where the camera can see it. All right, stay up, stay up. That took it a little too far forward.
And now, if I need to.
And now for something completely different.
When you don't have glasses.
Just
you
a
improvise.
little closer.
A little closer?
And just give us the presentation.
Okay. See if that'll do it. Ah, there we go.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, so, now that we've all got mech sheets.
Nope. It fell down.
Oh! I'm trying to figure out what I dropped. I dropped something.
Dice?
Maybe. I'll find it when we're done. Because I think it looks like we got... Looks like everything is up here on the... Anyway. Okay. So... I have printed, for your convenience, the cheat sheets!
Yes!
If I had some cardstock, I would have printed them on cardstock. But if each of you would take one of those and pass around, it's a little more complicated than the basic cheat sheet. But that's because we're playing with the full standard rules tonight. And yes, it gets more complicated. That's one of the wonderful things about BattleTech is the full rules now comprise like 7 300-page books. But you don't have to use all those. This is all we're playing with tonight. The standard rule book. It is not that
I should have brought reading glasses.
not that daunting. Okay. And that fell down. I should have brought. I have a document stand. I just didn't think to bring it. All right.
I've got that one out that I could bring in.
Oh.
But I think if you just that's good.
There we go. So that's a battle mech sheet, and we will. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Just hold it. And
So this is a battle mech sheet, and this defines what is on the vehicles you will be piloting tonight. So
is it too awkward?
now I want to get one in front of me so that I can see what I'm talking about. There we go. So this sheet shows you everything you need to know about the mech you're piloting. Let's start with the mech data box in the upper left corner that tells you the name of your mech, the serial of your mech, and then it has tonnage, tech base, and movement points. Tonnage is obviously how big is the mech. The tech base becomes important as the timeline advances. Right now, everybody's on an even keel technological in a technological sense, but 30 years from where we're playing, things start to change. And so tech base becomes important. The mechs that you're playing would be a little outdated once that comes into play. And there's a very underdog story to be told there because a lot of that tech comes from other places. The movement points are the things we're going to be using the most tonight. You will need your tonnage if you engage in physical combat. If you take your giant robot in and punch and kick the other giant robots, we will need to know your tonnage, because damage is determined by how big the mech is. But the movement points are the things that we're going to be using more often than not. Okay, there we go. So the movement points are what we're going to be using more often than not. You have potentially 3 numbers there: walking, running, and if you have jump jets, jumping. So let's talk about how to use those and what they mean. In a very, very, very simple terms, the faster you're trying to push your mech, the harder it's going to be for you to shoot your opponent. If you're standing still, you will have the best target numbers on your enemy. If you're walking, it'll be spoiled a little. If you're running, it'll be spoiled a lot. And if you're jumping, you better hope you're in someone's face, because hitting after a jump is really hard to do with a standard pilot. Much like any tabletop or role-playing game, even if you're not bringing in the MechWarrior rules for role-playing, there are simplified rules in BattleTech for your pilot getting better at what they do after playing a certain number of games. So you can have better pilots, or the scenario could tell you you're playing elite pilots or things. And as you pointed out earlier, asking about battle value and balancing, there's a whole formula for taking that battle value and putting a better pilot or a worse pilot in that mech and adjusting the value.
Okay.
So you could try to do. One heroic elite guy against 4 other enemy mechs. 4 is the standard number in BattleTech. It's basically a tank platoon. They call it a lance, like an old knight's lance forney with all his accoutrement and stuff. There are also special pilot abilities. We're not going to play with those tonight, but they can be fun. Like individual pilots that can do things other pilots can't do. Like this pilot is a locust pilot who's a maneuvering ace. They get the ability to lateral shift, which is sort of skip to the side. Your mechs can't do that. And they're also harder to hit because they're better pilots. But that's all stuff we can play at a later date. So movement points: walking, running, jumping.
Okay, I'd like to kind of interject here.
Sure.
So you've got mech data, which is the upper left-hand part of the chart.
Yes.
And that has the type.
Type of mech.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, not a lot of light. It has the type of mech. It has the tonnage of the mech. It has the technological base, which, as we said a moment ago, all of these are going to be inner sphere. That refers to... Oh, I had these behind it.
You go. Okay.
So, the inner sphere tech base, the only one available in the time period we're playing. And then, of course, your walking, running, or jumping movement points. So, during the movement phase of the game, the first thing you're going to tell me as the referee, and so that the other players can hear, is which mode you're using. Walking, running, jumping. That is even important if your mech is prone, because it costs you movement points to attempt to stand up, and we need to know how many movement points you've got. So, how do you spend movement points, you may ask? Well, in its simplest form, one movement point is one hex of movement. So that awesome has a walk 3, run 5 movement profile. It cannot jump. So if that awesome was going to walk straight forward, he would count out 1, 2, 3. Now I'm out of movement points. Done. If I'm trying to get behind these trees, which I won't be able to do with 3 movement points, it costs a point for every hex you turn. 1, 2, 3. Now, if I really wanted to get behind those trees, I could run. Now I have 5 movement points, but my outgoing fire is going to be harder to hit with. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm behind the trees, and anybody over there is going to have a hard time seeing me. That's basic movement. 1 point to turn, 1 point to enter a hex. Where it starts to get complicated is when you enter a hex that's anything but clear. Walking into light woods costs an additional point. So I would count this as 1, 2 going into these woods. Heavy woods costs an extra 2 points. So if I were here and I'm walking, this is as far as I can get. 1, 2, 3, I'm done. So moving through terrain slows you down a lot.
Bring that over closer to the camera.
Sure. Moving through terrain will slow you down a lot. Moving through these 2 light woods would cost me almost all my movement, even at a run. Because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Sometimes I hear new players ask, how many points is it to move out of woods? You're never counting what you're in. You're counting what you're moving into. So that's a clear hex. It's 1 point. So, how do I get down from here? This is level 2, and that doesn't have a level written on it, meaning it's assumed to be 0. 2 levels is the height of a battle mech. So this is almost but not quite a cliff. It costs you 1 movement point for every change in elevation. So if I wanted to come off this hill, that's 1 point for the hex and 2 for the elevation change. 1, 2, 3. That would be that awesome's whole move is just coming off. And the problem with elevation is you can't change elevation moving backwards. So a lot of times I've seen people put themselves on the side of a hill in a good firing spot. They get rushed and they can't go anywhere because you can't change elevation going backwards. They have to give their backs to their opponents.
That's only a mech that can't jump, though.
A mech that can jump, yes, will have an incredible advantage. So on this map, we have to worry about elevation changes. We will also, when we come to combat, have to worry about elevation as far as targeting your opponent. But we'll get to that when we're talking about combat. So far, I'm just teaching you how to move the mech. So, up and down hills, 1 point per level. You cannot change more than 2 levels. So if something is a level 3, that is a cliff. And you have to go around, unless you've got jump jets. So, let me see. We covered elevation. We covered trees. Rough. Rough terrain costs an extra movement point. I don't see any rubble here, but rubble costs an extra movement point and causes you to make a piloting check, or your mech falls down from the loose gravel and rubble and pieces of buildings. And you can create rubble hexes yourself if there's buildings and you put enough firepower into them. Then they come down and now they're rubble. In the advanced game, you can also reduce trees by putting enough firepower into them, and there's all sorts of crazy advanced rules for doing things like that. We do have water. Moving into water costs an extra movement point on top of the movement point for changing elevation. Water will slow you down a lot, but there are 2 reasons you might want to move into it. Well, 3 if you count level 2 or more water and your mech is underwater. They can't see you, they can't shoot at you. One is that if your mech has heat sinks in its legs, and I'll explain how to look for that in a little bit, your mech will bleed off additional heat for standing in the water. So if you have a mech that tends to run warm, or if you've taken engine damage and your mech is generating extra heat, sometimes it can be worth it to move into level 1 water and cool off. Like the the Awesome can just hang out in level 1 water and rock those 3 cannons all day long. The problem is what happens when someone gets close to it. It has very slow movement and has a hard time getting back out of that water and running away. So you got to be careful about that.
Where's their water on?
Right over here.
Okay.
This is all depth 1 water, it looks like, yes. So that will be waist deep on a mech. You can jump into it, but you can't jump out of it unless your jump jets are mounted above the waist on the mech. And I'll show you how to figure that out in a minute, too. So that's what water does for you. If you've got heat sinks in your legs, water will help cool you off. Jumping. I think most of the mechs on this map can that you guys chose can jump, can't they?
Yeah.
Jumping is incredibly useful, but like I said, it will make your shooting kind of difficult. Jumping is easy to do. If your mech has like that Shadowhawk has a jump of 3, right?
Shadowhawk.
Your Shadowhawk
has a jump of 3.
has a jump of 3.
Yep.
So that means if this Awesome was a Shadowhawk, I could move 3 hexes in any direction and land facing any direction I want to land. Doesn't matter.
regardless of elevation.
If you have three jumping points, you can clear 3 levels of elevation during your jump. And there's nothing on this map, I think, that's higher than level 2.
So if it's 2, then you can jump down or jump up.
Exactly.
So if I were here,
It's as long as you're not changing more than 3 levels or clearing something that is more than that many levels above where you're starting. So right now on this map, I don't see anything that's more than 2 levels high. No, here's a level 3 peak. And that looks, here's a level 3 peak. Right here.
and then that's got a flat base ground.
So if you were in that canyon there and you wanted to jump on top of that mountain, you would need
2 moves.
5 jumping points?
No, not at all. Because as long as you can clear it, you can land there for... So if I'm here, I've got a 3 hex jump range if I'm that Shadowhawk. 1, 2, 3. I could land here. The level difference is 3, and I've got 3 jumping in piece, so I can clear that much elevation as well as distance.
All right, so you can move 3 distance and elevation.
Yes.
All right.
You don't have to count the up and down, just count the distance. But basically what it's counting is what's the peak of your jump? What's the highest point you reached before you came back down?
And that top was 2 hexes away, but 4 elevation.
Then I couldn't make
Then
it.
you couldn't make it.
Well, you jump to 1 level
And then jumped, yeah,
Right,
you'd make it in 2
You couldn't
bounds.
do it in 1 movement.
Couldn't do it in one.
Right. So that's how jumping works. And remember, with jumping, you can move in any direction, and you can land facing however you want to land. So that makes jumping highly maneuverable, but it's going to spoil your aim. And that's why we're coming to combat. So movement phase happens first. We're going to roll initiative. The team that won initiative is going to ask the other team to move their mech first.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
How do we roll initiative?
All right, so each team, somebody on each team roll 2d6.
Right, Lucky.
And this first roll, before the dice hit the
Mind
ground,
if we get the right color dice?
yes, let's get the movement dice out.
Yeah, because we need the black, the red, and the white.
Right. I did not explain that part at the end of movement. Thank you. So the movement dice. This is a innovation in BattleTech that has recently been made official. It was something everybody did for years, but didn't make it into the rulebook until just now, and that is movement dice. Movement dice serve 2 purposes. First, they show us which mechs have already moved, because when you finish your move, you're going to place a die next to your mech, and that shows that that unit has executed its move for this turn. The other purpose of movement dice is to determine how far and how fast each mech moved. The red dice are still in my bag.
No, it's red dice right there.
There are?
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. Duh.
And then there's also red dice right there.
Yeah, they're a little bit bigger, but that's okay.
What is there? Does size matter?
Not really, it's just the little ones tend to keep the map less cluttered. Alright, so the movement dice. If your mech stands still, you're going to use the white dice, which represent walking. You're going to put a 6 showing because these show the modifiers for combat. and nothing on this board can generate a 6. So 6 is universal for I stood still. So if this mech stands still, the player's going to place that die there, and now we move on and move something else. However, if the mech moved, the color of the die is determined by how it moved. Walking is white, running is black, jumping is red. And what you do is you'll move your mech, and you'll see that on your cheat sheet, there is a movement modifier. That is located...
Movement modifier. There's a movement cost table.
It is on the other side. Attack modifier tables. You will see that right here, it says target. Move 0 to 2 hexes, move 3 to 4 hexes, move 5 to 6 hexes. That's the number that will be showing on the die when you put the die down. And it's important to note that is absolute distance moved. If you turn, that point doesn't count because it's just a turn. You're not going anywhere.
Right.
So my mech could start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I've only moved 4 hexes. The turns don't count. So I would look up 4, which is a +1, and I would place a 1 by my mech.
And if we didn't move enough to 0 to 2, it would be a 6.
A 6. You show a 6.
Yeah.
So white is walking, black is running, and red is jumping.
Let's roll initiative.
So now that we know that, here's a movement set for you. A movement set for you. A movement set for you. Did you already grab yours?
No, I did not.
I thought I counted. Oh, there it is.
Right there.
How do we place our mechs out to go and start?
That's what I was going to say, and then you reminded me I didn't hand out the movement dice. So this first initiative roll, the winner will claim a side of the board, and that will be the side that they are entering on. And then the mechs will come in along that side. And the opponent will come in along the opposite side, obviously.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Why don't we just start close together on that side? Since we're trying to illustrate some rules, and I feel like if we're in this big map, we're going to spend a bunch of turns
Just running towards
There will
each
be
other.
a bunch of turns closing, but if you start tight like that, you're automatically going to be disadvantaging the mechs with the long-range weapons.
Okay.
It's a good question. Trust me. I've got a player, Andy, who gripes about the close to engagement every time we play BattleTech. But if you do start close like that, that catapult is automatically going to have something in its face, and it won't be able to do what it does.
And then I'd have to cry.
We don't want that.
Yeah,
No,
That
that's
happens.
terrible.
you don't want to see me crying.
What's fun is you get a lance, like in large games where you have a company of mechs, 12 on each side. Sometimes lances are built for specific purposes. Like a fire lance, you'll have a lot of PPC and missile-armed mechs in a fire lance. But one of the things that I've seen players do is 3 catapults and then a hunchback. And the hunchback carries the heaviest cannon in the game that only has a 9 hex range, but it does enough damage that if it hits you, you have to make a roll or fall down. And so there'll be 3 catapults and a hunchback. And someone will get in to try to get in close to the missile mechs, and the hunchback pops up and goes, "Hi there!" So, all right. Each team roll 2 dice, and let's see who claims which side of the map. That's 4.
Lucky? I think so.
6. Which side of the map would you guys like to claim? And depending on what your mech's fit out is, you might want to take advantage of the terrain a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of think we should take that side.
Oh.
I agree.
Okay. So, you guys, one of your mechs is going to start within the first 3 numbered hexes of this side.
Okay.
Anywhere in these 3 rows, where would you like to start?
Start me in the middle
In the middle?
of the 3 rows, yeah.
Okay, so middle would be about here or here.
Right there.
Right there? You got it. All right, catapults on the map. Place one of your mechs over here. Tell me where you'd like it. This row, this row,
Place
this
a big
row.
boy, yeah?
Where would you like to put the Thunderbolt?
So what was my choice again?
First 3 numbered rows. So these 3 rows all the way across.
Can I get up on that cliff there?
You can. It's part of the first 3 rows.
Put me there.
Here or here? Or where?
That last one you pointed to.
Okay, so beep, 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 beep,
There.
here.
There you go.
There you go. All right, now there are numbers on the hexes, and that's partially to tell so whoever can reach your miniature where you're going, but it's also in case we want to plot artillery. Later games, you can have off-board cannons firing on the map, and it's brilliant. It sometimes sucks, though, when your artillerists miss and the shell comes down on your own people. So, your team plays Flynn anywhere in the first 3 hexes?
Fourth one up, first row.
So first row,
Sorry, fifth one up.
second, third, fourth, fifth. This one.
Right there.
All right. So you are behind level 2 and level 3. Your mech is completely obscured from that side of the map.
Man, can I go ahead and be standing on a level 3 at the start of the game?
Yeah, you can. First 3 hexes. So you want to be here.
Yeah.
All right. So you're up now.
I can
Now you've
see.
got some visibility. All right. And then you guys, where would you like?
Yep. I want to go right in the middle, the third one up between the two.
Between the 2 peaks.
Between the two. Yeah.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Get the
Hey, diddle diddle, right up the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. So facing. We talked about movement, and we'll do movement. Let's talk about combat. You guys are far enough apart where only the LRMs are really going to be able to reach out and touch in the first round, and generally the numbers at extreme range are pretty poor, but who knows. Counting range. You count the hex your enemy's in, but not the one you're in. So you start with the first hex in front of your mech. So if we were going to count range from the Thunderbolt to the Shadowhawk, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, this would be the maximum range for an autocannon 5 or a PPC. 19, 20, 21, and this would be maximum range for missiles. So right now you guys are outside each other's envelopes.
And I'm a big
Looks
missile
like an
guy.
LRM-10 is long range of 21.
21.
I've got an LRM-15, so I have a range
Yeah, you
of
got a
15.
pair of them.
Yeah.
So you've got a range, the long range listed there, and I'll go ahead and
Long
describe
range
that.
listed is 21.
21.
Yeah.
So,
So all I have to do is move once and fire, and I might be able to hit these guys.
mhm.
All right.
So, take
Rock
a
and
look
roll.
at your weapons and equipment inventory. Now we're going to talk about how to shoot each other. All right. So, weapons and equipment inventory. And I will borrow 2 of these miniatures to give you some demos in the middle of the battlefield. So, it gives you a quantity, it gives you a type of weapon, it gives you a location. Why is that important? 2 reasons. One, that part of your mech might get blown off. And in that case, that weapon is no longer available. Or someone might get through the armor and damage that weapon without actually blowing the limb or location off. It also matters as to where you can aim the weapon. So, taking a look at our nifty spiffy firing arcs, if your mech is standing here, this is my facing.
Can you show us the
Yes, I
firing
can.
arc?
Yes, I can. I will put this out on the table for everyone to see. This is the firing arcs. So if your mech is facing that direction, these 3 hexes are considered your front. Any weapon mounted on the torso or the left and right arm can shoot in this direction going outward from the mech. The left arm can in addition fire down this row of hexes. The right arm can fire down this row. The only weapons that can fire back here are specifically rear-mounted weapons. So like the Battlemaster had 2 rear-mounted lasers. That's to keep light mechs honest, because light mechs like to get behind you and chew on your rear armor. So that is your weapons arc. You will have the opportunity during your combat phase to declare that you're torso twisting. And that will basically leave your mech facing where it's facing, but shift all of this diagram 1 hex left or right. That's the mech swiveling at the waist, so that you could get 1 arm around to shoot this guy. So if you torso twist and then that right arm arc becomes this, and you can shoot the guy behind you with just the weapons on that 1 arm. That's something we couldn't do in the beginner games.
Yeah.
You can do it now. There used to be an entire phase where people just declared torso twists, and they took it out because no one ever went around the table. Which way are you facing? Which way are you facing? It just happens when you declare fire. Now, just so we're clear, incoming fire on the rear of your mech is generally bad news because your rear armor is thinner than your front armor on most mechs. Incoming fire is always calculated by where your feet are pointed, not by where your upper body is pointed. So if this mech is here, but your torso twisted, you can't argue, oh, he's not shooting my back. He's right behind you, he's hitting your back. So it always goes by where your feet are pointing.
Is there, so during combat, if you're doing the torso twist, you're still giving the same back.
Yes.
How do you indicate that once I've twisted one way, I can't also fire the other way?
Because you declare your fire when you declare your torso twist.
Okay.
It happens at the same time.
So you just don't bother keeping track of it. Just,
Right.
I'm
We
gonna shoot
used
this
to,
way.
like in the old rules, when there was a whole phase about it's called the reaction phase, and everybody. But nowadays, it's just you declare your torso twist when you declare your fire, and if something about it doesn't make sense, the other players will call you on it. So, all right. Just for the sake of people out there in TV land, I will also mention there's one other way to get rid of targets in your rear arc, but none of these mechs can do it. Except possibly the catapult, but it's got LRM, so that's not going to help it very much. Some mechs, the Locust can do it. Some mechs do not have arms so much as they have cannons on swivels.
Like, for instance, mine.
Yeah, I would have to look at the sheet on the catapult to make sure it fits this description, but if the mech is built without lower arm or hand actuators, basically it's got guns on a swivel. If that is true, you could declare during that phase, when you're declaring your twist, that you're just rolling both your arms, and you've got to do both of them. You can't just do one. Both your arms roll all the way over to point backwards, and now you can shoot at things directly behind you. Famously, this was done by a mech called a rifleman in one of the novels, and oh my god, he's shooting behind him. People try to do that in the RPG or the tabletop game as well. The catapult, it wouldn't be that useful because you've still got that 6 hex minimum range. Because if someone got in your back arc, those missiles are probably not going to hit them. But other mechs with shorter range weapons can clean out their own rear arcs that way. Then again, if you're missing those actuators, it makes punching harder to do, and it makes punching do less damage. So moving right along. Attack declaration. We do our movement. The people that lose initiative will always move the final mech. And the reason for that, a lot of people who play D&D go, wait a minute, I won initiative, why aren't I moving first? Because in this game, it is more advantageous to know where your enemy's going to end up. So, this will be easy because there's 2 mechs on each side. But there is a sort of formula for determining how many mechs are moved in each pass so that the loser of initiative always moves the last mech no matter what. But you'll take turns moving the mechs and reacting to each other's movement. Then movement phase ends and fire phase begins. At that point, the people that won initiative will declare their fire first. But all fire is resolved as if it's happening simultaneously. So if I blow off your arm this round and you've got a gun in your arm, you still get to shoot it. It's not gone yet until the round is ended. So everything is considered simultaneous. Some people, when they're playing in a role-playing style campaign, will not do it that way just to speed things up a little bit. But the bog standard rule that we're teaching tonight is all combat is simultaneous. The winner will declare their fire first, but if they damage your mech, the damage doesn't take effect till the end of the round. So, firing weapons. So you will declare what you're shooting. That happens before any dice hit the deck. Everyone declares what they're shooting and who they're shooting at before we start rolling. The reason for that is if that catapult lights up this commando and the Shadowhawk lights up the commando, but the catapult kills it, the Shadowhawk has already declared who he's shooting at. You can't just go, oh, commando's dead, I'll shoot over here at this guy. All the fire is declared before we resolve any of it.
And you have to also declare the weapons that you're shooting.
Which weapons you're shooting. The other thing that does matter is in what order are you firing the weapons? Why does that matter? Remember I told you earlier that missiles are really good at finding holes? Generally, a tactic a lot of people use is they will fire their weapons that do a lot of concentrated damage first, and then they will follow up with the missiles. Because critical hits, which I'll explain in a minute. So, when we are shooting at each other, and you know what? We'll use this Shadowhawk as an example. So let's say Flint's Shadowhawk is firing on this commando, and this commando stood still this round because he's stupid. Light mechs need to keep moving. They need to keep moving because they don't have a lot of armor to suck up what you're throwing at them. So what we're going to do is use a mnemonic called GATOR, G-A-T-O-R, that helps you remember how to calculate these numbers. G stands for gunnery. That's your gunnery skill. For everyone at this table, it's a 4. That is the bog standard. I'm a trained mech warrior, and that will be written on your mech sheet right here under warrior data. Your gunnery skill will be a 4. Your piloting skill will be a 5. Counterintuitively, just like armor class and old school D&D, the lower that number, the better. The reason is this is your base number to hit something. You need to roll 4 or better on 2 6-sided dice. But here's what's going to happen. G in GATOR is gunnery. That's your gunnery skill, so you're all going to be starting at 4s. A is attacker movement modifier. So let's say Flynn walked to get where he is. Walking, if you consult your cheat sheet, adds a +1. So what Flynn's going to be looking at is the color of his die. A white die is a walk, +1. A black die is a run, +2. A red die is a jump, +3. So right off the bat, if you jump, you're looking for 7s. And that's not counting any other modifiers. So jumping is really going to make life difficult if you're trying to hit something with a weapon at longer ranges.
And this is on 2d6.
2d6. So G is gunnery. A is attacker movement modifier. The color of the die is important. The number doesn't matter for the attacker. The number matters for the defender. So T is target movement modifier. That's where we look at the number on his die. The 6 is showing, so we know he didn't do anything. So that's not going to add anything. Our total is still 5. 4 for gunnery, 1 for attacker modifier. Target is just standing there. O is other. O is other modifiers. That means terrain. That means weird things like, is my mech overheating, which we'll talk about in a minute, or am I splitting my fire? Can you shoot at more than one target? Yes, but the second target's going to be harder to hit than the first. A lot of beginning players don't want to mess with that because numbers are hard in the first place. Right now, what falls under the O are these woods he's standing in. He's standing in light woods. That's worth a +1 cover modifier. Now we're at a 6. 4 for gunnery, 1 for attacker, 1 for his standing in woods. And then R is for range. You might want to, if you want to write this down, I know a lot of players will write it down like where it says short, medium, long up here on the sheet. A short range shot incurs 0 penalties. If you're within that number, up to the short range number, no penalty at all. A medium range shot incurs a +2. And a long range shot a +4. So let's count range. Remember, you count the hex the enemy is in, but not the hex you're in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be a range of 8. So with the Shadowhawk, that would be long range for the short range missiles or the medium laser. It would be medium range for the autocannon or the missiles.
Yes.
So
that's all on the data sheet. Right?
it's all on the data sheet.
So if we've moved into, can I move this turn on my initiative and
Yes.
then fire away at these guys?
If you've got clear line of sight, yeah.
Well, I need to get on a higher altitude. What's the highest altitude?
The highest altitude that I found on this map is 3 levels high.
Over on my side of the board, where I can move to.
Oh, on your side of the
I
board.
think you're already there.
There's a level 3 here.
That's where I want to go.
Okay.
So can I move? Go ahead and move, or is it my turn?
Well, I think we were just
we were still
simulating
explaining how to
combat
calculate
phase.
numbers, but yes, you can get there this round with your jump jets.
Okay.
So that's we were at 4, 5, 6 for terrain. So if it's medium range, you'd be rolling for 8s. So 2 more for range. If it's long range, you'd be rolling for 10s. What I generally tell everybody,
That number or higher, right?
that number or higher. Meet or beat. So what would happen is we would roll the dice to see if the weapons hit. Once we've established what hit and what missed, then we roll to see where the weapons hit, and that's where this fun diagram on your sheet comes into play. It shows the armor for each separate area of your mech. When the armor is gone, the damage goes to this. This is the skeleton of your mech. This is the electronic muscles. This is the frame. This is where the actual weapons are under the armor. Every time damage is marked here, We're going to roll to check if a critical hit is done. And that's where all this comes in. This represents the crap inside the mech and where it's located. If it says roll again, that means there's no equipment mounted in that spot. And there's so many spots because that's how you can build your own mechs in this game. There's a construction system. You don't have to play what's in the book. You can create your own stuff. But you're limited by how many slots there are. The space in the mech and the weight of the mech. So we will roll to see what critical hits happen. I will tell you what the effects are as we play because that'll speed this up quite a bit. Sufficient to say you don't want critical hits to happen. You know, crits to your legs will slow you down and screw up your pilot checks. Crits to your arms will spoil the aim of the weapons in those arms. A crit to the head could kill your pilot. In fact, every time the head takes damage, whether the armor is breached or not, your pilot will have to make a consciousness check. And the more hits he takes, the harder that check becomes. So that's how we hit and how we resolve damage. What happens if you hit an area of a mech that's been blown off? That's what this little transfer diagram is for. If the right arm is blown off, the damage goes to the right torso. If the right torso is gone, the damage goes to the center torso. A mech is considered out when it can no longer move or fight under its own power. If it loses both legs, the pilot will generally surrender. If you lose your engine, you're gone. If you lose your gyro, that's your call. You can choose to white flag at that point, but some people will get tenacious and try to fight from the ground. It doesn't work very well, but you can try.
Let's see what happens.
Sure.
We've got a lot of rules that you presented into our heads now, but I think unrolling them round by round might be a way to
let's do that.
Reiterate what you've said.
So you guys have started. Let's go ahead and roll initiative for round 1 now that mechs are on the field. So one player from each team, roll 2d6.
Do you want to roll?
No, you go ahead and
Let's do the lucky old school guys.
Lucky old school guys.
6.
Roll off.
4.
5.
Wow, you rolled 1 out of 5. Okay, this team wins. That means your team has to select a mech and move it first. A lot of times what you want to do is sacrifice the movement of the mech that the other team can already guess where it's going, or if it's standing still, that forces them to go ahead and move a mech. So if that catapult, if you know exactly what you're doing with it, which would be going to the cover here,
Right.
Or on top of the level 3.
That's what I want to do. Get up at the highest position
All
so
right.
these guys don't get any cover.
So you jump to the level 3.
Yeah.
That means we'll take that red die and we'll place it. So, if you look at your cheat sheet, you'll see moving 4 hexes is worth a +1. But there's an additional +1 for jumping. So to keep things fast, we go ahead and put that on the die. So there's now a 2 modifier on this die. The red color tells him he jumped. The 2 points is how many you guys will pick or to shoot in. So now your team needs to move a mech.
How do you feel about moving? You want me to go?
I can move since you're up high.
All right, walking, running, or jumping.
Let's start off with let's learn to walk first.
Sure. So that gives you 5 movement points.
Right.
Where would you like to go?
Let's go to the left of the mech.
Okay. So 1 hex side left is 1 point.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, let's do that right there.
Okay. So where's your white die? You've moved 4 spaces, which according to your cheat sheet is a 1. So we'll place a 1 in front of your mech. We try to put the dice where the mech is facing.
Okay.
For some reason, like with this commando, the foot placement is a little awkward, so we kind of try to use the die so everybody knows which way they're facing. Your team. I'm sorry, your team. You guys are on opposite ends of the field.
Right, it kind of throws you off a little bit, doesn't it? I'm probably going to jump because I think that's my fastest way to go in that direction.
If there's a lot of hills up and down, jumping is your friend.
Yep.
And nobody's going to close to range this round anyway, so you may as well maneuver while you can. And, you know, as I said earlier, my friend Andy often complains about this closing element of the game because it can take a while. But depending on the battle plan of each side, this could decide the battle. How you engage and how you make the other team hang it out there could decide the battle. If you can string them out and make them throw their mechs at you one at a time, or if you can get one of their vulnerable mechs in a spot where you can pound it, sometimes the maneuver is just as effective as the shooting.
actually might run.
Ah!
Running down. What's the cost to get?
Okay, you are on a level 3.
Right.
This would be 2 points to get here.
2.
So that would be 1, 2.
And then one more.
And then this would be 3, 4, 5, 6.
Why would it be three movement? Because he's moving down another level?
You're moving down 2 levels from a 2 to a 0 and into woods.
Into woods, okay.
So 2 points for the woods, or 2, as you were, 2 points for the levels, 1 point for the woods, 1 point for the hex itself would be 4. So this would be 6, and you'd have 2 movement points left. You could get into this woods here, or turn and exit the
I
woods.
think I would go into the next woods.
That is not a bad idea.
That way I'm sticking with cover.
So that would be a black die for the run. You only actually moved 3 spaces, so you're going to show a 1.
Okay, now, there's also for running, isn't there another bonus, or another penalty that I have to go ahead and add because I ran?
Yes, and that's based on the color of your die. When you're
That's when he
Yes.
this is Gator, got it.
Right. So
Right.
attacker, you're looking at the color. Target, you're looking at the number. That's how that works. Okay. And now we just have the Thunderbolt. Where would the Thunderbolt like to go? Oh, and that's that sweet, sweet ELH Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I think that I am going to. Like I got 1, 2, 3.
Are you
5, 6.
Are you
I
jumping
was
or
running?
running? Yeah, this would be. What do you want? A 2? So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'd pretty much be stuck there because this would be 3 points. 1 for the level change, 1 for the trees, 1 for the hex.
There's that section next to it, but you'd have to go and turn, wouldn't he?
Yeah. See, you were standing here, right? Facing that way? No, you were facing this way.
Mm-hmm.
This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could get there.
Can I go back to where I was?
Yeah. Or you could jump generate 4 hexes in any direction. And 65 tons riding jump jets is a frightening sight.
Yeah, I think I'll go jump 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So you jump 4. That would be a +1 modifier with an additional 1 for the jump, so we're going to put a red 2 there. Now I also have some friends that when we go back and forth about this, some new players in my home game group, that will calculate the trees onto the die as well because the hex does cover the trees. I'm still used to doing it this way, but they're starting to like rub off on me. So they run a pretty good BattleTech campaign.
What's this +1 per intervening hex?
I should explain that really quick too. This is an intervening hex. It's between you, but neither of you are in it. If the intervening hex penalties for woods ever reach 3 or more, you just can't see each other. There's too many woods. But being in the woods counts as a penalty but doesn't count as intervening. So these 2 mechs could just barely see each other. Because light woods is worth 1, heavy woods is worth 2. No, I take that back. That's still 3. So there'd be no line of sight there. But if this mech was 1 hex closer, now they can see each other, but the penalty's going to suck. This guy will actually get more defense because he's standing in the woods. This guy's he gets to claim this hex, but he's not standing in anything. So yes, intervening woods. The one you're standing in, and this was a rule we got wrong for 20 years. The one you're standing in does not count as intervening. We had one guy who swore to God that if you're standing in the woods, I can see you, but you can't see me, and that's not how the rule works. It's not how it's ever worked. It was just not written clearly. But we know now, and knowing is half the battle. Alright, everyone has moved. That means we move on to fire phase. The team that won initiative declares fire first. But if I'm not mistaken, we're at the outside edge of weapons range.
Actually, I may be able to reach.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The Shadowhawk 2021. The catapult is just out of range. But the Shadowhawk is in range for missiles. Let's take a look at the catapult.
Range as well for my LRM.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So, the catapult is in range to the Wolverine, but the Wolverine's got this level 2, and it's standing behind a level 1. The catapult is on the level 3. 1, 2. You're close enough to the dead zone where I don't think he can see you, because you're 2 levels out. I think this is saving you right here. But as soon as this is no longer intervening, when you're over here, he's got a clear shot. Now there's another level 2 over here. As long as you stay within 2 hexes of it, it'll give you cover. So it looks like the Shadowhawk and the Thunderbolt can exchange LRMs at this range if you so choose. I don't think anybody else has got joy this round.
So the catapult, I can't hit anything?
Not just yet. He's at the extreme edge of your range, but this level 2 between you.
21 is the exact number between you and
I see. So there's like that pillar there.
Right. If this pillar was 1 hex further away, you would probably have LOS.
But the other Mac, could he hit the other Mac?
I'm actually 1 space closer if you triangulate.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
I thought I had...
No. When you counted it out, you counted it to 19 to me, and then 2 more hexes over to him.
What is this
2 more hexes
intervening?
lined up.
Does do any space there? Or?
There's nothing in
You guys are standing up. You're on a level 2. He's on a level 2. These trees only stand 2 levels tall.
But I'm also standing in trees.
That would count. Standing in the trees would count. But none of this stuff in the valley between you is going to intervene.
I'm going to take a shot.
Okay. Well, it's your team's turn to declare fire, so you're going to light them up with 1 or both of the missiles.
Both. I'm going to shoot both.
All right. Flynn, do you have any fire?
I have only 1 weapon that can hit him at this particular range, and that would be my LRM-5. I may as well try.
All right. Now you guys declare. Well, do you guys have any fire?
I'm going after the medium mech.
So you're engaging the Shadowhawk.
Yep.
With?
Awesome.
With the
LRM.
pretty much the only thing that I've got is the LRM
10. The LRM 10. All right. So team that won initiative is going to go first. Let's walk through the numbers. Gator. So the catapult starts with a 4 as the G, the gunnery. Oh, I'm sorry. They won initiative.
Yeah, we won initiative.
I got that backward. My bad. The Thunderbolt starts with a 4, G for Gator. The Thunderbolt ran. So attacker modifiers +2.
Jumped.
Oh, jumped. That's right. Red dice jump now.
Yeah.
In the old days, we would stack dice for jump. Okay, so red dice jump. Thank you for catching that. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. T target movement modifier is 1. So that's 8. Other, nothing.
I'm in.
Oh, you're in. So 9.
Woods.
I'm in light woods, which means a +1 there.
So that's
And
9.
then long range is 4,
Which takes us
is
to 13.
which means I can't hit you.
Which means, yeah,
Probably means I can't hit you either. We'll find that out.
But I can hit you.
you can try.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
All right, so you had no fire?
Yeah, I don't think I can do anything.
I don't think so either with your position in this
My
round.
long range is 50.
All right. So for the sake of being nice, we'll just if the shot's impossible, you didn't fire. Because then we'd have to worry about heat and missiles for that first opening shot.
Okay.
Because more experienced players would have already worked the numbers.
We'll just run
Yeah.
Gator and then you would declare.
Right. So
Right.
while movement is happening, players are usually sitting there running the Gator in their head, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's an impossible shot."
So I did. I did find something
Yes.
that was really helpful. There is
An app.
Gator app,
Nice.
and you can go ahead and enter all this stuff in, and calculate it out beforehand, and it will give you.
That's awesome.
It will give you this.
we live in
so
the future.
This is doing this little number crunching is once you get all the little things, and it's got stuff for custom quirks, weather, darkness, some other things. If you've got other things, arm actuators, sensors. So anyway, the next time we do a Gator on my turn,
Sure.
we're going to put this up because I think this is
Kind of cool.
this is the numbers are probably the worst part of strategy games.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
So
Well, this is a 1984 game design, and it shows its age. So, but something that I saw today on Kickstarter that is not nearly as useful as that, but is really, really bitchin'. These guys are making mech cockpit simulators out of MDF with these wraparound screens that have plexiglass mech sheets that are 3 panels. You slide them in, the LEDs light them up, and, you know, for the space, this takes up this much space on the tabletop. This thing would be like this big with LED lights, but I would have etched into the plexi the silhouette of my mech, all my weapons, and write on it with a little grease pen. I mean, they're fucking awesome.
Okay, so
But they're also $70 each, and
so they made Battleship
yes.
for mech. Okay, I'm in.
I mean, it's awesome, and trust me, I would love to
remember
buy
we had-
some for my players, but I can't think of a reason. You know, I've got to pay for daycare for my kids, man.
I remember one of the
So-
funnest games that we had was Electronic Battleship.
Where you would hit the
Well, what I love is they put the power they put the power button for the LEDs under one of those like toggles where you have to flip it up and then hit the switch. Little safety covers.
Cool.
All right, guys. So the catapult is going to fire. Let's run the gator. G is 4 for gunnery. Attacker modifier jumped 5, 6, 7. Target modifier. You were firing at the Thunderbolt? Yeah, because it's the only one.
Yeah.
8, 9. And range 10, 11, 12, 13. You're in the same boat.
I can't hit.
Right, and
So
in
you
both cases, it
not
was
taking
that
the
jump
shot.
that pushed you over. So
Yep.
the jumping gives you lots of maneuverability, but it spoils your aim.
Okay.
So, again, we'll do that courtesy with the catapult. The missiles did not fire. You don't waste the ammo. Your computer told you, hey, man, this is...
Can I get a lock?
Yeah.
So I was kind of seeing, we saw this with the basic game, the initiative kind of giving the heads up.
When I saw that he jumped, I felt like I could advance
Yes.
further with a jump and not worry about the hit as much because it was going to spoil his aim.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So like
That's
I
true.
felt like I could close because he's
Yeah. All right, so at the end of the phase...
I-
Oh, yes, you have a shot, too.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and try the same guy.
So let's run the gator. 4
All right.
for your gunnery. Attacker, you ran. That's 5, 6. Target 7, 8. Other 9.
10 and heavy woods.
It's light woods.
Is it light?
Yeah, it says light. So that's 10.
It looks,
And
it's
then
hard to tell from the
range.
graphic.
11, 12 if you're in medium. I'm pretty sure you're outside of
I'm in
medium.
large. I'm in large.
Yeah, so that would be a miss too.
Okay.
Now, cautionary tale with weapons that do not require ammo, like lasers. If you've got a shot at boxcars, you need a 12, go ahead and take the shot as long as it's not going to overheat you. Because I have seen that come up ridiculous before.
Yeah, but the laser doesn't have the range. Long range
Yeah.
is 9.
Lasers don't tend to have a range.
Yeah.
But I did see a brand new Shadowhawk untouched taken out by a 20-ton mech because someone took that shot.
Yeah.
They needed it as boxcars, they rolled boxcars, they rolled a through armor critical, and hit the SRM ammo. And so it was ridiculous. Okay, now what we would normally do is heat. So I'll explain really quick what heat is. When your mech moves, it generates heat. Walking is 1 point, running is 2, jumping is 1 point per hex jumped. Weapons fire generates heat, and the amount of heat generated is listed on your weapons and equipment inventory. Energy weapons tend to generate a lot of heat. Missiles and autocannons, not as much. The trade-off is one has ammo that doesn't. You add up all the heat you generated this turn. Then you subtract your heat sinks, which are down here. Your total heat sinks.
So we're going to assume that we're smarter pilots than players, and that we didn't shoot at each other because every shot was a bomb.
Exactly.
So right now we're just generating heat for movement.
For movement, so no one's going to overheat this round. But in the future, you subtract those heat sinks from the amount of heat you just generated. If there's anything left over, if you generate more heat than you have heat sinks, you put a pencil mark here on the heat scale. And see, every time there's an asterisk, something bad is going to happen.
Now, where do you find all of your heat sinks? So I see I've got some legs based on the critical hit
Right.
table.
Some of them
Is there an
are
easier
not
way
on
to
there.
find that?
How many you have? It's right here.
Like I've got 12.
Yours should say a number and single.
Heat data.
Yeah, heat data. Off to the right. There
We go. It's this.
Yeah.
that-
It's an ascending list.
Yeah.
So you start out with 5, in my case, and end up with 30, and 30 is shut down, cool down.
Right, that's
Okay.
the penalties.
So is this how much?
So-
If I do the jump, I did 4 hex jump. That would be
4
heat.
You
Now,
got 12
how much
heat sinks.
How much dissipates?
12 points every
12
round.
points every round.
So you're good. You're golden. But as Jim pointed out, starting at 5 extra heat, bad things happen to your mech. First, you lose a little bit of movement. And that's 1 point off your walk, meaning we recalculate your run. Your run is always 1.5 your walk. So, for instance, that Shadowhawk moves 5 and runs 8. If it overheats, it's now 4 and run 6. And then 3 and run 5, and so forth. At 8, you have a +1 modifier to your fire because you're cooking your targeting computer. At 13, you slow down some more. At 14, you have to make a saving throw or your reactor shuts itself down trying to prevent a catastrophic failure. And so forth on up the chart. At 18, you have to start worrying about ammo cooking off. You don't want to get that hot. How does a mech get that hot? You don't pay attention and you just fire everything. Or you take critical hits to your engine. The first critical hit to your engine is 5 extra heat every turn. The second critical hit is 10. The third hit, your engine shuts down. If we were playing with the stack pull rule, your engine might explode. It's named after the author that wrote one of the novels where a mech's engine just goes... And so, all right. So, now we've done heat. Everybody's at 0, but now you understand what the penalties are if you overheat. Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's not. The next thing we do is
clear
clear movement dice and return them to their teams.
I'm taking 2, or whatever it is. And those get marked up.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm seeing. It says
No.
I've got a 17 and then the parentheses 17.
So don't mark off your heat sinks. Those are for marking them off when they're physically damaged.
When they're gone.
Your heat sinks dump heat every round that they're functional. So and that's also a rule that's commonly misunderstood with new players. Is I've had people like not shoot anything for 5-6 rounds. Like, what are you doing? Well, I've only got 15 heat. No. You've got 15 heat every round, not for the whole game. That would suck.
Cools down.
Yeah.
Cools down at the end of every turn.
So, now each team needs to roll initiative again. We're back at the top of a round, and initiative could change.
All right, Lucky, it's your turn.
10.
8.
All right, this team has initiative. That means your team needs to move a mech first. Declare which mech, and is it walking, running, or jumping?
Let me move first.
Yep, go for it.
Moving the slower mech is usually the smart move.
I'm gonna not move.
All right, you declare a stand fast.
Yes.
So you are going to sit and spin in a nice little hidey hole in the woods.
Yes.
So that mech is standing still. Now you guys choose one of your mechs to move.
I'll move 1. Is that still my altitude there? Do I move 1?
You are on level 3. This is a level 2.
So it'll be 1, 2.
So that would be 1, 2 to move forward.
That's what I'm going to stay where I am too.
You're okay. Let me have your white die, please. And that is exactly what catapults do. They find a nice spot and they shoot. All right. So other team, move the Wolvie.
Let's see. I'm going to jump.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
Okay. Would you like to face this direction, or do you want to turn some other direction?
Let's see.
Because you can land in any direction you choose.
This is all. That's level 2, right there.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to stay that direction.
Okay. Excellent. So let me have your red die. You jump 5, which is worth a +2, so we're going to have a 3 showing. That's 2 plus the 1 for the jump.
Where is it? There it is.
I think I stole some white die.
I think that's fine.
Okay. So now this team, move your Shadowhawk. What would you like to do?
Turn right.
Walking or running?
I will be running.
Running. All right, that's 1 movement point.
Forward 3.
2, 3, 4,
Turn left 1.
5,
Forward 1.
6. You got 2 points left. Into the woods or not?
If I stay there, does the intervening heavy woods or whatever that is?
Let me take a look at where the line is.
Not for me, because I'm a level above, I believe.
Okay, the line goes through on this side, so the heavy woods would interfere because you're standing right behind them.
Okay, so
If you were out here, nothing. because of the basically blind spot rule. But you're standing right next to them, so they would cover you in this case.
I think I'm probably going to go and stop right there.
And this is a rules question that might come up later, so you guys bear this in mind. If this mech was 1 hex over and the attack was coming straight down this line between these two, what would happen is the person receiving fire would get to call which of these hexes is intervening. But once they do that, any fire back has to go the same path. So he could say, yeah, I'm going to take the heavy woods. But then when he shoots back, he's got to take the heavy wood penalty.
Right. Since it's not straight on, we just go down.
Right, he's actually on this side of this line if you go straight down the line. So that means the heavy wood intervenes.
So I need the black die.
Yeah. One thing I used to love to use. Oh, yeah, we got lasers. Oh, those are not straight lasers.
But we have a ruler.
So
We do.
I moved. I covered what? 1, 2,
Center.
6.
How is this off? There we go.
It's not center to center. I'm center to his side. I mean, just looking straight on.
Right. Because laying this down the line, it's going to come in through the heavy woods. But if it was like this, then you'd get to call it if he declared shots at you.
The attacker calls it, right?
Well, the defender calls it,
Defender calls
But
it.
then the defender.
but then the defender has to suffer the same penalty.
Ran plus.
So you ran how many hexes? You started here, right?
In 6 movement to get to where I'm at.
But two of those
He
were
was in the woods right there.
So I went 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 would be worth a +1.
And then I ran. Oh,
That's the black die. Yes.
Black die. Got it.
So if it helps, I've found that when you're playing with the movement, like take an extra die and just leave it where you started.
Yes.
Then move, and then you don't have to go, oh shit, where was I? You know,
Right.
It just makes it a little easier,
There I was.
right?
Thursday night.
We've got extra die that we're not using, like
Right.
not non-D6s will work. We won't confuse a D20 with a D6. That'll work too.
Okay, then we roll initiative.
All right, no. Initiative stands for Fireface. So who won? Your team won initiative.
Right.
That means you guys declare fire first. Who would like to shoot at what with what? So
I'm going to shoot my long-range LRMs, both of them, at the nearest target, which I would assume would be
Can
the.
you see him?
let's take a look.
But can I see him?
There's a two-level tower here.
But he's on 3.
He's standing on a level 3. Let's
Is that
see
the-
here.
is that
Center of hex to center of hex. It's going to clip the level 2, but he's 2 hexes back from it. He would get partial cover. What that means is it's +1 to your target numbers. If you hit and roll leg, the weapons went into the rocks, and he takes no damage. But if you hit upper torso, so the shot is a little more difficult, and anything that goes into the legs is wasted, but you can take the shot.
Then I will.
And
Take the shot.
anytime a mech is standing next to a level 1 anyway, that applies. From the waist
up, you're visible. From the waist down.
So I don't think that we've gotten to what happens when you hit. So far, we've talked about Gator.
Right.
Gator's gotten us partially the way there.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain a little bit about what happens when you actually make a hit?
All right, can you mark off on this chart here?
Do we want to just roll it and then?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's roll it. So, Gator. Jim starts with a 4 for his pilot. Attacker modifier is nothing. He didn't move. Target modifier is 3 because of the jumping movement. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. Other modifiers, 1 for partial cover, and then range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
4 less.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's still long range.
Yeah.
So you need boxcars to hit.
Okay.
All right, man.
Here
Let's
we
see
go.
it happen.
Good luck.
First flight
7.
goes wild. Second flight. Oh, were you firing both?
Shoot both, yeah.
All right,
I'm not
second-
I didn't
He
move,
did declare
so-
both.
That's true.
I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I'm not moving. So there's no heat so far. Well, I just generated
Right.
some heat there.
Miss.
9. Okay. Both,
All right.
Both shots.
So,
miss. So how much heat did I generate?
all right, an LRM 15
If
Generates.
you look at your weapon, it'll have an
I want to
HT.
say it's 7 from memory. No. That's an LRM
Is
20.
it the MI? No, it's
It says
minimum
HT.
range. HT.
I've got a table back here. I used to have it
Why
memorized.
wouldn't they put it on this chart?
It should be there. It's 5
It's
points.
right next to H. It's
Oh,
right next to-
HT, heat.
Yeah.
HT.
5.
It should be
That's
5.
10.
So you've generated 10.
Oh, I
10
see.
points of heat, so I've got -2 movement points.
Except how many heat sinks do you have? Like 14, 15?
Heat sinks, I have.
Lower right, where it says heat data. It'll
I
be
have,
right here.
I have two heat sinks, 5 and 6.
No, right here in this box that says heat data. It should say
15.
15 single.
So I
you can
absorb
bleed
the 10.
15 heat.
Right.
You can absorb the 10.
I've
You're
got 5
fine.
more I can do, but I'm not moving. I've
All
already-
right. Now you did burn 2 flights of missiles, and
Oh.
your ammo will be listed here.
All right. 2 flights of
Um,
missiles. Okay.
Yeah. I believe the catapult has. It should say how much ammo you've got there.
Ammo, damage, location, 1
Where?
missile.
Oh.
1 missile, MCS.
Oh, that's weird. It doesn't actually
Minimum
say how
short,
many
medium,
packs
long.
you've got. Oh, it's down in the critical hit chart, which it should be summarized up above. You have 2 tons of ammunition. Each ton is, I think, 8 shots. Yes, 8 shots. So you have 7 shots left for each missile launcher.
Okay, no problem.
You are rocking and rolling.
Okay.
All right.
It's Flynn's turn to shoot.
Flynn, would you like to shoot something?
Sure.
Would you
Who
like to
can I
light
see?
something up?
Who can I see?
You can definitely see me. I don't think you can see him because he's behind that
Right.
cliff.
Yeah,
There's a
we-
level
we
2
got
right
RV.
here. Yeah, this is basically kind of a wall between you guys.
Right.
You can see the thunderbolt though.
And what's my range? 1, 2.
So intervening,
Is one
light, but it doesn't count what I'm in, or does it count what I'm in?
it counts what you in for the penalty, but not for
Line of sight.
blocking.
Okay.
Okay, so I could go ahead and actually fire my long range missiles and my
Auto AC5.
AC5.
Okay. So Gator G gunnery is 4. Attacker movement was ran 5, 6. Target movement was nothing. Other modifiers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, it's just 1, 2, right? Because we counted. Yeah, we did that. So 4, and I just spoiled myself. 4, 5, 6, 7 here, and then range. So if this is, what did you say the range was?
15 if I counted it correctly.
So that's going to be long range for the LRMs and just in long range for the or just in long range for the LRMs and long range for the autocannon.
Right.
So
4. So plus 4.
so 6 plus 4 is 10. You need 10s to hit.
Okay.
So which one are you firing for? Okay, there you go.
Green will go ahead and be for the missiles. White will be for the autocannon.
Go for it. 9, close. All right, so mark your ammo for both of those. Usually the record sheets usually put the ammo right here, but I noticed these don't. So down in the critical hit charts, there should be slots for ammo. Mark the ammo there.
Okay.
And just so there's no confusion, because I see Flynn doing it right and Jim already did it right, the ammunition counts individual shots for the weapon. So every point of ammunition on one of those LRM-15s is 15 missiles, but you don't mark off 15. You just mark off 1 because that's a
Right.
flight of
It's
missiles.
15.
Okay.
You have
Flights.
15 shots, not.
Right.
So
Well, otherwise, those numbers would be way too.
No, just 1. Because each of those shots is 5 missiles.
Okay, what do you have here? You have a medium laser,
No ammo.
an SRM,
That has
short range
ammo.
missile, medium laser, medium laser.
There's 2 missiles.
SRM-2, so there should somewhere in your critical hit chart be
Ammo SRM 50.
So
you've got 50 shots. Each shot is 2 missiles.
So
So you don't mark them off 2 at a time. You mark them off 1 at a time.
I'm lucky I have low lasers, so no ammo.
I just noticed that these printings of these sheets do that. That's odd. It used to be,
But
but
Put it right in the.
it
is
If it's
useful.
easier to keep track of, just stick it up here.
It
is useful to mark off where they come from,
because
because
if you get crit in an empty ammo bin, nothing happens. But okay, so moving on. This team has done their fire. I'm taking it the Wolverine doesn't have any return fire because it's well hidden. What is the Thunderbolt shooting? And we should have declared this before we rolled anything, but that's okay. We're learning. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so I have
Going back in
one LRM,
Oh, yeah.
but it looks like I've got
Catapult.
long range missile.
Yep, only 1 ton for each LRM. I just wanted to double check the sheet.
I've got 2 spots for ammo.
Yeah, because you have 2 tons of ammo. When one runs dry, you go to the next one. So
just mark it off whichever
one you want. Yeah.
All right.
In the more advanced version of the game, you can actually load 2 different kinds of missile ammo if you want to. But only one kind of ammo is available right now. And they're pretty dumb rockets. These guys have forgotten how to make fancy schmancy heat-seeking missiles. You basically lob these things at general direction of the enemy.
Interstellar Travel forgot about infrared.
Well, it's also explained that the mechs have advanced ECM, and so what guidance systems they do have don't really work. That's why you fire 15 missiles and 9 of them might hit.
Okay, so am I firing now, or who? Did you just?
I can't really hit anything from here anyway.
The
Okay.
real reason it works like that is the game designers wanted you guys to beat the crap out of each other with giant metal fists. So, because there are people that are like,
Rock
what?
and sock 'em.
I was like,
Yeah.
why does my laser only have a range of 2.5 football fields? This is stupid. Well, because the game designers wanted you to beat the crap out of each other with your giant metal fists. That's why. Every time someone brings up physics in BattleTech, God kills a kitten. So,
Right. So I'm just gonna use my long-range missile
yes.
on the
Shadowhawk.
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 The closer you
Okay.
are target.
So Gator, G is 4.
You
did not move.
Let's see how this works.
Go for it.
Right.
So did not move.
Did not move.
Attacker gunnery was
4.
4. That's all constant. Did not move. No modifier. Target moved 4
So that's going to be a +1.
plus 1. Intervening terrain was 2 light
points.
woods.
Well, heavy woods.
Is it too heavy?
1 heavy woods, 2 points.
Same as 2 light, right?
Yeah.
2 points.
That's what we counted going out, so that's what we're
right.
going to count coming in. So 2 points for 1 hex of
Heat's
heavy
not a
woods.
problem.
Nope.
Long range.
Long range.
My 2 hit is 11.
Ouch!
Hey, it's not 13.
Right.
Nice.
So I've got a chance, but
There's
this
a
guy
chance.
is not a long range guy. I need to get closer.
Oh!
No good.
So does that mean something?
Critical miss. Only if we're playing MechWarrior 2nd Edition.
Right.
That is not a critical miss. However, if we were role-playing the 2nd Edition of the games, everyone would yell skill point because that's how you accumulated skill points.
Like
at the end of the game, I would hand you XP, but during the game, anytime you rolled a 2 or a 12, it's a free skill point. And everybody's like, "Hey, skill point!" Mike Nystel, if you're watching this, I remember your rules. So, yeah, Mike used to work for me in my computer lab, so I'd like come out and bitch at him about 2nd Edition MechWarrior rules. Mike, why'd you write this way? He's like, that was 20 years ago, man.
Let's see. That was all our fire, right? So let's calculate heat. Did anybody come close to breaking their? I know you've only generated 10 because you're standing still.
Yep.
Boom, you're good. Flynn only fired an autocannon and a missile rack, right?
Right. So 3 points.
So that's
plus,
nothing.
Plus the
Plus the run is 5, and you've got 12 heat
that's
sinks.
12, so no problem.
You didn't fire anything. You just jumped. You're good, and you only launched 1 flight of missiles, right?
Yeah, no problem.
So no problem. Nobody is pushing their mech to the limit just yet. Nobody is rocking a Marauder.
Give me a chance.
Yeah. There we go. All right, guys, it's time to go back. Oh wait, those are yours. Sorry, I threw the dice the wrong way.
I need a red.
All right, guys. The range is getting shorter. Things are going to start getting interesting.
Yes.
So let's have an initiative roll from each teammate.
No, I did it last time. It's your turn.
Oh, okay.
And Flynn's team. Whoa! Boxcars!
Oh,
I
scheiße.
hate using it, wasting them on.
I still rolled
I
a
know,
10.
wasting them on initiative, right? All right, your team, select a mech. Move first. Are you
Are you going to turret?
Or
Or are you going to advance?
Let me get. May I?
Sure.
I'm gonna jump.
Okay.
Oh, holy crap!
We're jumping.
Jump in Thunder Bunny!
And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Boom! So, while we're talking about this, let's have your red die. And that's 1 plus 1 for jumping is going to be a 2 showing. Physical attacks. No one's close enough to do that just yet.
Yeah.
However, there are basically a couple different ways. You can pummel with your fists, in which case you can attack twice. Boom, boom. You can kick, which does twice the damage of a punch, and forces your opponent to make a pilot check or fall down. However, if you miss with the kick, you have to make what we call the Charlie Brown roll. You could fall down. There is charging, and there is death from above, both of which must be done after the target mech moves. Because if you were to try to declare it before the target mech move, they could just step out of the way. But once the enemy mech has moved, you can declare a charge, which would be running straight at it. The farther you go, the more damage you do on impact, but both mechs will take damage. Or you could do DFA, death from above, also known as dumb attack. DFA is something any mech on this map could do because they all have jump jets. You basically jump into the air and come down on the opponent. It does a hideous amount of damage to the upper body of the other mech. It does some damage to your legs, and then you have to make an egregious pilot check to stay standing after executing one. But sometimes, when your mech has lost all its weapons and you have no other choice, or if it's just dramatically appropriate, I've seen people do that too. There is a 95-ton assault mech called a Highlander that has jump jets, and the DFA with that mech is commonly called the Highlander Burial, because you're dropping 95 tons of mech straight down on someone. All right. So, one mech is moved. One mech on this team.
Are you going to go and stay where you're at?
I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Okay.
All right, so let's have that white die back. So, the catapult is on Overwatch.
Excellent.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That turn.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Turn.
Oh.
Take a look at this line right here.
Quite.
Yeah, from where you're standing, this blocks.
He
He can't see you.
Sneaky.
So that's a run.
You need a black die, and it should be 6, so that is 2.
I might change things with that.
Exactly. Actually, let me look at that again. That rides the line. The incoming shot could call it. Of course, Flynn could move too.
Right, and I intend to.
Now that would be partial cover left. Same rule as we had before, but if the left side of the mech gets hit, the dirt eats it. The old rule, it was +3, and the nasty part about that was instead of dirt eating leg hits on a lower body cover, it was roll on the punch table, which meant rather than having a 1 in 12 chance of hitting the cockpit, you know how to 1 in 6. People would go for that all the time. They wanted to blow that cockpit off because that's all she wrote. But the new rule is much more forgiving.
So if I move, I'm going to open myself up for damage from one or the other. But let's go ahead and have some fun. All right.
What would you like to do, Flynn?
Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4,
We'll go with 5.
5,
Turn to the right.
6,
7, 8.
7, 8. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexes moved. So that is going to be a +2 with a black die for running. There we go. And is that all movement? That's all movement.
That's all movement.
Winning team, declare fire.
Well, I can't hit the this mech here, can I? It's too close to.
I think you actually may be able to.
Well, is this a level 1? No, that's a level 2.
Two.
So he's
Oh,
up
okay.
behind
He's
the
behind
2.
enough.
Let me check
Level
something real
level
quick.
two.
For
It kind of makes sense like a guy standing up against a brick wall.
What if I hit him in the head, though? 'Cause maybe his head's just popping up over the edge of the...
Well, I'm looking to see if the box set includes the indirect fire rules, because if it does, Flynn can call in the fire. You send the fire over the hill.
Ooh.
It's harder to hit, but
Oh,
it's.
yeah.
I've got
But I am not
the
sure
coordinates.
that the basic rules. Indirect fire doesn't look to be in here.
I don't see it on the cheat sheet.
Yeah, in the advanced game,
Indirect fire is a thing. And basically,
Flynn
Flynn would give up his attack, if I remember correctly, to call in the coordinates.
And
then
then
Jim would
calculate the 2 hit with an additional +1 for indirect fire, and then lob the missiles over the hill. But it doesn't appear to be in the basic, box set rules. So I guess. Yep, I don't see indirect fire in here, so we will move along. It does happen, just not in the introductory rules. So, moving along. I guess you would be declaring fire on the Thunderbolt.
That's right.
then.
What's the only one I can hit?
All right, so both missiles or just one?
I'll do both missiles again.
So, Jim's declared both missiles on the Thunderbolt. Flynn,
Probably just-
what would you like to declare?
All right. I can see this guy out to range 1, 2. What, 8? Can I see this one?
Yes, this is waist high on your mech. He's standing on a level 1 in... Oh, wait. That's level 0. So he's covered. He's partial covered and in woods. 1/2 penalty plus 1 for partial cover. So there'd be a +3 penalty for this shot.
This guy, I don't have any intervening
Right
stuff.
in front of you.
And he doesn't have any intervening stuff for me, so I may as well go ahead and dump everything that I
So
can.
you're going to fire... You're
This means that he's going to do the torso twist.
8. He wouldn't really have to, because this is forward... Oh, you're right. This is forward arc.
Right.
There we go. So yes, you'll have to torso twist to hit.
Yeah, torso twist.
Okay. So you are in range with every weapon on the Shadowhawk.
Yep. I think that's what I'm going to try to do.
Bring it.
So that's an Alpha Strike. He's got an Alpha Strike coming in. Your team, what are your declarations?
We're in the same scenario. I can't see him.
You can, but he's standing close enough. He'll get partial cover. He'll get +1, +2, +3.
Okay. I'm going to go all in.
So you're going to Alpha Strike the Shadowhawk.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome.
And what is the Wolvie going to do?
Let's see.
Wait, hold on.
They may all be attacking me,
I think so.
which is okay. Drawing them out, and hopefully that they'll go ahead and command, especially if I can get up here and hide
I
behind
think I can do my
level 2,
medium
forcing
laser.
her to move.
Yes, you're in range for medium laser.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're in long range for the medium laser.
Yeah, let's do that. Medium razor. 12. Or I can
Hold
go
on.
medium
I
range,
want to
large
compute
range.
this before I say
Sure.
that I'm alpha striking. So please hold on before people
Yeah.
start determining that.
Sure. And you've got the 6R Wolverine?
Yes, R6.
Yeah,
6M.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the Merrick model. Okay, so that's got a slightly different heat profile.
I'm going to hit with everything but my large laser.
Nice.
Counting that out of the equation. I jumped.
Yeah. Large lasers are a fast way to overheat a battle mech. Shadowhawk, Wolverine. Okay.
So much math.
Yeah, the Wolverine 6M. Yeah, an Alpha Strike would probably make you a little toasty.
No, it would knock me out pretty good.
Okay, so you would generate 20 heat if you fired everything and ran, and you've got 14. I'm talking to the yeah.
Right, yeah, no.
So you'd be at 6 on the heat scale if you fired everything. So you'd either leave off a medium laser and an SRM, or leave off the large laser. The large laser is more likely to hit at this range, but it's your call.
Right. Let's do
So I can do 2 medium laser and missiles.
Yes, you can.
Let's do that.
And that'll leave you running nice and chilly.
All
All right, so 2 medium lasers and missiles coming in. And David, do we have a declaration for the Thunderbolt yet?
Well, it'd be silly for me to hit with the LRM, so I'm going to go with the 3 medium lasers. Yeah. I'm going to go with 3 medium lasers.
3 medium lasers?
So that's
3 medium lasers and a large.
Nice. That's 17 heat.
That's my jump.
Quarter pounder with
18,
cheese.
19, 21 heat.
Yep. Dissipate 17, and I will be 1 below any penalty.
Thinking like a mech warrior. Now you're thinking like a mech warrior. All right. So now that we have all fire declared, the team that won, let's resolve fire. Who wants to resolve first? Jim, you want to let those missiles go?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so start out with the 4. No movement on your side. 5, 6 over here.
7, 8, 9. Partial cover is 10. And then range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
That's long range. That's going to be an impossible shot. He's got
+1 for the target jump, right?
Yeah. Well, that's already on the dice.
Or -1 for the target jump, right?
It's already on the dice. He's got too many trees.
Okay.
Too many trees. So that shot can't go off. So
Like I'm useless this turn. They're done maneuvering, fooling my satin computer.
Yeah. See what we can do over here. So, swivel about, and then fire off.
All right, so let's run the gator. I'll be walking everybody through it this round, and the next round, let's see if you guys can do it.
That should be 8, right?
It'll be 4 for your movement. You ran 5, 6.
7, 8 plus range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be
long range for your little things like the SRM2 and the medium laser.
So let's go ahead and take care of those first.
So those will both be boxcars.
So boxcars.
So which one's the laser?
The green is the laser because it looks cool.
Green is the laser. Got it. Okay.
Neither one hits.
Now we need 10s for the autocannon and the missiles.
Okay. And autocannon.
Got it. Miss.
No.
Skill point. Okay.
Yep.
So mark ammo.
And let's move on.
This team.
Who's shooting what? And where?
Why don't you go first? You probably got a chance. I don't think I can
Yeah.
actually shoot. To be honest.
So yeah, I'm going to go for...
All right.
All right.
So
4 is your gunnery.
Attacker
modifier 5, 6 for a run.
Target
7, 8.
No
intervening woods.
So
8 plus range. Once again, you're firing SRMs and medium lasers.
Right.
So it's
going to be +4. So you need boxcars.
Yep.
So
3 lasers and then a missile rack, right?
2 lasers and a missile rack.
2 lasers and a missile rack.
I'm not going large.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's go first medium laser.
Okay. Miss, but close.
Let's go next laser.
Miss,
but close.
And for the missiles.
Oh, that would have been cool. All right, mark ammo. David.
What do I have in between us?
2 light woods
2 light woods, that's it.
and partial cover. Because he's covered from the waist down. It should be on there.
Cannot hit. I wouldn't be able to hit with any of that.
Okay.
So nothing done there.
We gotta get real close.
Well,
we're also under a lot of cover.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cover and there's a lot of running and jumping going on.
Not over here.
Well,
yeah. You need to get those guys closer within your missile envelope.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's clear movement. This goes to this team, right? And these go to this team. So a little number trick with long-range missiles, because 4 out of 5 mechs on this table have them.
Actually,
yeah,
yeah, 4.5.
So,
So
the
the long-range missiles have a minimum range of
6,
6, which sucks. You don't want anybody inside 6.
Their
Their medium range starts at 8. That means 7 is outside of minimum, but inside of short. So the magic sweet spot to get someone in for long-range missiles is exactly 7 hexes. No minimum and no medium range penalty. It's just really hard to do that dance. Most mechs with long-range missils either are ponderously slow or don't carry a whole lot of them if they're fast.
Let's roll initiative.
All right, initiative.
All right.
I like those colored LEDs. That's pretty cool.
9.
9.
You want the lucky ones?
Should we try?
7.
All right.
All right, so you guys have to move first.
Why don't you move first?
Yep. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to jump.
Okay.
I want to turn first. 1.
Well, remember when you're jumping, turning doesn't count.
Oh,
You don't need to
Just
worry about
move.
adjusting it.
Move up to 5 hexes and land in any direction.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Interesting. Boom. And that level 2 looks like it's right between you and the catapult.
You make it closer to you.
Right? Yeah, so I could land turned.
Yep, that level 2 is going to clip.
Yeah.
That
So
means I
can
can't hit him.
land turned?
I think if I'm looking center hex to center hex, it's right up the side. So he could call it, but if he calls it, then he can't shoot back at you. Because it's right up the line.
Oh, I see. It's his discretion.
Right. Well, whoever gets shot at first, and since you have initiative, you'll be declaring fire first. And he says, "Nope, you can't see me." Then he can't see you either.
Right. We haven't declared movement yet, have we?
He just moved. So
Right.
place your. It's a red die.
Yep.
You jump the full 5, so that'll be a 3 showing.
Yep.
Three.
Now your team needs to move one of your mechs.
So
you can react to his movement and get somewhere that opens up.
Right.
That's exactly what I want to do. So I am going to move. One of my movements is going to be a rotate, something like this.
Okay.
And then level 2, I'll walk one step forward.
Okay. So you would have to do that in the other orders.
Okay.
Walk. So that would be 1, 2, and then 3. Now you've got an open shot.
Right.
So
So is that as far as you want to go?
Yes.
I would. Yeah. So white die, please.
That's
a walk.
So
now he's got a shot.
Now the Thunderbolt has to decide what it's going to do. Thunderbolt's such a glorious back. I love back. That was my ride back in the 90s, was a Thunderbolt.
So I'm going up 1 level.
Okay, so moving into this hex.
Light, so that is
3 points.
3 points.
1 for the hex, 1 for the level change, 1 for the woods.
So I'm going to run.
Okay, so 1,
Dun,
2, 3,
dun, dun, dun.
4, 5, 6. Or no, 4, 5, and then the turn is 6. So black die with a 6 showing because you only move 2 hexes.
Or black die with a 2 or 1 showing.
No,
Oh, I'm still stable.
Yeah, it would be a 6 because 0 to 2 is nothing. So, but you are standing in light woods. Now this cuts out a lot of the intervening woods, so the catapult may be able to hit you too. All right, Shadowhawk, what would you like to do?
Do I run away in fear? Do I run away strategically? Oh, yeah. I'll make him run.
All right, walking, running, or jumping?
Running.
Running.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Let's actually probably do 5, 6, 7,
7, 8.
7, 8. Put me out right there. That put a level 2 between us.
Yes, it does, and you
Or if I
are
were- or if I
one.
were right there,
that would be better.
That would be better. I'm going to do that.
So now the level 2 is masking you because you're within 2 of it.
And I think since I have one more movement left,
You do?
Go ahead and because I stay closer.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
I'm going to go ahead and do one change phase.
All right, so
You're snugged up behind the 2-level hill.
Right.
So
there's no LOS either way.
I am exposing my back to this guy, but I don't believe that he can see me per se.
All right, so place your black die
with
level 2 in between.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that'll be a +2 showing.
All right.
So team that won initiative, declare your fire.
I'm firing 2 long-range missiles at number blue over there that I can see with the red dot.
That's gonna hurt. All right, Flynn, do you have any fire?
I don't think I have a target on anybody.
Not really, no.
I mean, what's do I?
So
can I
if
even
you
see
torso
them?
twisted, you could get your right arm around to hit him, but I don't think this level 2, level 3, that blocks LOS. That's right between the two of you. So you can't see each other.
Right.
Now,
And I can't
The
see
catapult can see both its opponents.
Right. Since I can't see anybody,
No fire.
no fire.
All right.
All right, so we know who the catapult's shooting. Flynn's not shooting anybody. This team.
They're both going to take long-range shots at me.
I'm going to shoot an LRM at him.
Yeah.
Okay, LRM at the catapult, and you're firing
LRM.
LRM. Wait, you have LRMs?
I have. I'm sorry, large
laser. Okay, large laser at the catapult.
Excellent. Okay, let's resolve fire. Flynn's not firing. Jim, you were lighting him up.
Yep.
So let's run it. Gator G is 4. You did not move, so that's nothing. 5, 6, 7 for him, and all we're really looking at is range at that point.
I'm shooting down from 3 to 0 or 2 to 1.
That doesn't change the numbers. It just gives you better visual. So range: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the medium. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 9s. You need 9s.
I need 9s, huh?
It's one of the lowest numbers we've seen so far.
Maybe needs a new pair of shoes.
7 and 7?
Yeah.
Dang! So the missiles go wide. Let's see what happens the other way. Who wants to shoot back?
I reckon.
Can I take immediate reaction to that?
Yeah. Okay, so gunnery 4.
Your attacker movement was jumping 5, 6, 7. His movement was nothing. Is he standing in woods? No. So 7 plus range with a large laser.
He's not standing in woods.
He's not.
He's not.
So that's
4, 5, 6, 7,
and
then range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's medium. 11, so long. So 11.
11.
Again,
the jump.
Yep.
9. So missiles go this way. Laser bolt goes that way. Thunderbolt.
I think we may score a hit this time.
What do you got?
So I got a long range missile. I've got nothing intervening because I'm on level 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that woods is in between us.
These don't count. You're firing over them because he's on a level 2 as well.
He's out in the open. So I've got an 8 to hit.
Wow. Okay.
Go for it.
Well, Lois. So here comes me rolling the 2.
Ooh, you're coming to hit me out of you.
Got a 4! Yeah.
You missed it 2 by 1 on each side.
Yeah, I knew you back in school. You would have bad shot then too.
There has a single shot.
This is like the nicest game. Thanks, guys, for being so polite.
Defensive game.
Well, yeah. You guys are maneuvering and hiding behind cover and making everybody's shots really hard. We should play Napoleonic BattleTech, where everyone just lines up and walks towards each other. All right, clear movement and do heat.
Nothing.
Not much.
Yeah.
Nope. That's like laser beam, right?
Yeah.
Should I try this time for initiative?
Yeah,
It's like a
go for
cartoon laser beam sound from the 60s.
God, that was have like a
missing a
Space
dime?
Ghost soundboard with all those.
Oh, I love those little guys.
it. That'll look great.
Statistically,
We'll find it.
do high. You will.
You gotta. Okay.
It drops a small red one.
Okay. So, what was the initiative roll on this side?
6.
6
I got it. They should be penalized
for dropping dice.
for dropping die.
I'm gonna drop some dice right here. Boom.
6.
Roll off!
7. 7. Roll on.
Do it again and you won't go to jail. 8. 7. Their team has initiative. Your team's trying to prove something.
Yeah. All right.
Boy, and that sucks. Losing
Yeah,
initiative constantly
kidding.
sucks.
Very important.
Well,
It's like one of my players always plays
one of the fastest
specs in the game, the Jenner, and she will not advance if the team loses initiative. She will just stay behind cover.
Because she's fragile. Yeah.
The Jenner likes to saber dance.
Which one of y'all's moving?
Let's see. You know what? I'm going. Man.
It's anyone's game.
1, 2, 3, 4,
4, 5.
5.
No, that would
5.
That would be 6.
That would be 6.
Is that
Because
6?
moving into the woods costs you an extra point.
Oh, that's right. All right, then where was I? I was here.
Yeah.
Let me just do this.
Wait, you were one backwards. You
Oh,
were
one
there.
back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we.
So what would you like to
All
do?
right, so let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4,
What's your run?
5.
5.
5 is the
8 if you want to
the
run.
limit of your walk. If you
Yeah.
Run, you can move 3 more, but remember, faster you move, the more you spoil your aim.
Exactly.
So hey,
Yes.
I just want to say this:
Mhm.
you're putting yourself in his sweet spot, but if you move closer, you're not, because his long-range missiles have a minimum of
True,
6.
that's right. So 1 from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah,
That's as far as you can get.
You're still within 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's at 6, so gym shots would be +1, and then there's woods intervening.
Even though he's standing up tall,
you're standing right next to the woods, so the woods still count.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good spot for you.
If
nothing else, it takes the heat off you for a round. But
I don't need the heat taken off me because I haven't taken any heat.
well, and you are in a thunderbolt.
I got plenty to take.
You know
You know what?
Or you know what? I hate to jump again, but I could jump back over here to his back, but he's gonna move if I do that.
I think that's a good play though.
You
You
could
could make the
You're
thunderbolt
keeping
move
it
first
down.
and force them to
Something.
move something.
2.
Because
Because one of their mechs will have to move before your second mech moves. So which one you give up is part of the tactics.
I think it's good for you to stay. Yeah.
Boom.
So I want to be.
Is that a jump?
Yes.
Yes.
That was jump.
All right, so lay that red die down. It'll be a +3, 2 for moving 5, and 1 more for the jump. So it'll be a +3. Boom. So that jump occurred. Now you guys move one of your mechs.
I will move.
Okay, where you gonna go?
Wait, you're moving?
Yes.
Oh my god! I thought your legs were broke.
So is that a walk or run or jump?
I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk 1, 2, right?
Right, correct.
3, 4.
And 4 is the limit of your walk. Catapult only walks 4.
Okay, can I turn?
No, but you can torso twist.
Okay.
So your missiles can bear this way.
Okay.
And I guarantee that Thunderbolt cannot get behind you this round. It's not fast enough to do that.
So that's a white die with a 3-1 showing.
So the catapult has come off the mountain. It's on the hunt now.
Let's see if I do that.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Holy crap! It's a run.
Running ourselves a game.
This is gonna be interesting.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, buddy, let's do this. Getting ready to.
Let's see. And you're mounting what kind of weapons?
Lots.
All right.
Something's getting closer.
Not showing up on the moment.
Hey, wrong genre. Stop mixing.
That app drove us nuts when we were playing the Aliens RPG a couple weeks ago.
The
The DM put it on and just let it go thump, 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 for like 40 minutes while we're exploring this, and everybody's just starting to.
How freaking.
And then when he started having it finally show movement, it freaked us all out. Because we all knew it was coming. We all knew something was going to happen. But it was just that tension. Thump, thump.
So if I jump and land here facing that way in the trees.
Oh, interesting. So that's a level 3. The line goes this way to the level 2. He can't see your back.
That's why I did it. Okay.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
We're doing what we can. So, as jump, that covered what?
We're watching
3. So
BattleTech Combat on ESPN
So
8,
2 total.
the Ocho.
Or is it 1 for 3?
One for I'm going to suffer a penalty of 1 for jumping, and then
Ah, yeah.
Well, it's a 3 for a jump, remember?
Oh.
But no, what you calculated, how far did you go in strict hexes?
3.
3, so that's a
what I
plus
did.
1, and the extra 1 is for the jump. So
Okay.
there you go. So that's set. Now everyone's moved. Team who won initiative, declare fire. Who are you?
I'm shooting all 3 of my lasers right at that guy, getting him in the face.
So you're going to fire the lasers at the
Yeah, that'll generate
Thunderbolt.
9 heat, and
Indeed
he's
it will.
medium range. He's 6 away, right?
It's firing through a heavy woods. I'm trying to determine if this light. No, you're firing past the light.
It looks like it's through the light. It doesn't look like it's hitting the heavy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
so-
it is.
If you look, yeah.
Oh, I see where the shadow's falling now. All right, so yeah, through a light woods hex, but that means you get a light woods back. Okay, Jason, Flynn, what are you firing at? So the catapult is firing at the thunderbolt. I take it you're firing at the thunderbolt as well.
I'm going to go ahead and I can only fire. If I do a torso twist, I'm going to fire something that's on the right arm, right?
Right. So you could get your laser around. Well, no, because this level 3
Blocks.
or the level
Yeah.
2 you're standing in front of blocks you.
Awesome. In that case, everything. Alpha strike.
Okay, the missiles are going to be a little awkward to hit at that range,
Wait,
but you should.
except for the long range. I'm not going to go in front.
Okay,
of
no
long range.
LRMs.
Right.
Okay,
Because
everything but LRMs. Got it.
Because he's at 5.
Return fire. What are you guys firing?
I don't think I can. Right?
No, because the only thing you've got LOS on is your teammate.
Yeah.
I'm going all in.
I
on
did that.
I
Unless you
thought
need some-
so.
Unless you need some encouragement.
Okay. So, their team resolves fire first. Who wants to shoot first?
I'm going to shoot first. Do you mean all in? Do you mean an alpha strike?
Everything.
Okay.
Okay. Range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Range is 6. So, gunnery 4. Attacker movement 1 for 5. His movement 6, 7. 1 for woods is 8. And that's going to be medium range for medium lasers. So 10s.
Tens. One hit.
Nice.
First hit of the game, isn't it?
Yes. There's a hit. 2 hits.
All
All right. So roll 2d6 twice.
So we need two
locations.
Okay.
They're both 5 points of damage because they're coming from a
7 location for the first.
That's going to be center torso, 7 points.
Center torso, 7 points.
Yes.
First blood, you got tagged.
Here, right?
Yep.
That's a little dots.
Yes, it is.
You got tagged.
And second hit, 8. That is going to be left torso 5 points. So
each torso took 5 points of damage.
All right.
All right.
Each
Yeah.
you said third, each because there's a middle torso, left torso, and a right torso. Yeah.
So just so you guys know, now that damage has been dealt, if at any point someone takes 20 points or more of damage in a round, at the end of the fire phase, they have to make a pilot check or fall down.
Okay.
10 points get you halfway there.
And I only generated 9 heat.
Yeah. So you're good.
All right.
Okay. So
I'm dumping all but the long range missiles on this guy.
all right. So Flynn,
Five
Gator.
range.
So 4 is your gun range. You jump 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then whatever range is. Is he in?
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the autocannon 5, that's short range. So all you need is 9. For the other weapons, the SRM and the medium laser, that's going to be medium range. So that's going to be 11s. So you need a...
Whites are going to go ahead and be the 9s, right?
Okay, whites is 9.
These are 11s, of course, but this will be...
The laser?
Yeah, we'll go with laser.
Okay. So roll them. Beautiful bean footage. Miss hit. No.
These were
those needed 11s.
right.
So once again, it's the jumping that's
Killing you guys.
I know.
I'm not jumping.
Jumping is supposed to save in my butt.
Well, yes.
I totally removed an attacker by that.
That's true.
That's true.
I'm good with it.
You did.
All right.
All right. So is that
everybody?
everybody? Have you shot?
No, he hasn't taken a shot.
You need to shoot now.
Yeah, he already rolled. He missed. Anyway,
Right. Okay. So did you calc your gator out on your app?
All right.
So, for the LRM,
I am
in
You
minimum
are
range.
exactly at minimum range, right?
Yes.
Plus 1.
plus 1.
One for each hex inside minimum.
So this
would be
so
plus
that's
1,
plus
plus
one,
2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6.
Okay.
So
it would plus 1 against or
Plus, yes. So calculate it at short range and add 1.
okay.
All right.
All right. So I need 10s for all my hits.
Wow.
Wah, 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 wah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start with the LRM.
Okay,
go for it.
No.
Miss. What's next?
Next is medium laser. Come on, baby.
Miss.
Nope.
Half of it.
Another medium laser.
7 or no 6. Miss.
One more medium laser. No.
You got 3 medium lasers?
Yeah. That Thunderbolt is.
And the large laser. Come on, baby. This is
going to be hot. It's going to be very, very, very hot.
No. Come on. I didn't roll above a 6.
All
right. So that's a lot of pucker factor and nothing landed. Okay.
And what do we get? What's the heat for walking or running?
2 points.
2.
So everybody calculate heat. I think the Thunderbolt's the only one that's in trouble.
I got -1 movement.
Which means next round your walk becomes 3, your run
becomes 5. Jumping is unaffected by heat, but that's how you get yourself into trouble. You just keep jumping and it keeps spiking your heat. All right. So, clear movement.
Roll initiative. I'll go ahead and roll initiative.
Yeah.
6. See if we can tighten the pace up a little bit in here.
All right. Well, you guys are so close to each other, things are going to start getting nasty real fast.
They can't help it.
All right.
You guys
won an initiative?
Yeah. All right. We move. So I'll go ahead and move.
End of the game.
All right.
All right. Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go nowhere.
Whoa.
White die, please.
So the
catapult decides to sit and shoot.
Nice.
All right. Your team movement.
I'll go first. You want to go first? Go for it. So I went
down from run 6 to run 5.
Yes, you have a run of 5 now.
So 1, 2.
Where was it? Was I here?
You were there.
Right?
Yeah.
Satellite woods. I shouldn't have calculated that. I should have stepped back 1. Didn't think about the light woods.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5.
That's an interesting.
Good choice. Good choice.
Ooh. Very interesting.
Wait,
Nope. Sorry. It's just a 1.
Just a 1.
Because I didn't move. I only moved 2 hexes. I just turned a lot.
All right.
So
Your move.
Light woods. That could be nasty. 265 tonners unloading at each other is always kind of impressive.
What am I gonna do? Can't do that.
what you could do. Oh yeah. Let somebody pilot a rifleman.
That
And
could
then
be
you put
fun.
your frozen dinners on its heat sink, so when the battle's over, your dinner's ready.
I'm gonna jump
Oh!
to there.
What level are you standing on?
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and face it this way in case movement covers.
Yeah, you have to be lined
Right.
up on the hex.
Right.
Okay,
So,
hex grid.
Those 3 are all forward arc, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
he's in forward arc right now.
Right. Okay, which is a jump.
And you started
2.
here, so that'll be a 2, yeah.
2.
1 for the movement, 1 for the jump. Okay. Now this leaves you with an interesting opportunity.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Let's see.
You're going to make me look up the DFA rules, aren't you? I don't think it's that much desperation time yet. But it is technically possible.
I think I can
So I could have done the DFA. Huh?
jump.
No, because, well, if he had moved first, you always have to target someone who's already
Sorry,
moved.
Not moved. Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll just step out of the way.
Right, makes sense.
So because you can jump in any direction.
Any direction.
Any direction facing, turn you're facing anyway.
And so I could go 1, 2,
Get in those woods.
3.
Well, you could move just 1, 2, 3, and land in.
Well,
Those
this is
woods
2
there.
from where you
Yeah,
started.
that's 2.
You don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
getting
you can jump right through his hex because you're going
Oh, I
over
can?
it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm at level 2 or something.
I mean, you can dance if you want to. Leave your friends
I like that because I'm right behind them.
Actually, that square there would be
This
right.
This square is true back.
Oh, is
Oh,
that?
is it?
That's
Right side.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, okay. I see.
So if
So
you
he
wanna
could,
get a
twist
rear-
and shoot you
That's
with
right.
one.
Okay, so let's do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he can get you with his right arm laser, but where you're at, you can get him with
everything at a
range of nothing.
That's a jump.
Now
The dual jumpage that went on is
gonna
going to make the numbers something.
Yeah, I'm at level 1 and you're at
level 3. Okay, I need to look up before you complete your move. Let me make sure that he's got LOS by the book because
Can't you look? I mean, wouldn't he just
be able to look down? Yes.
Bam!
In theory, because he's right there at the edge, I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
I don't
Is
know
that
if-
is
I don't
that
know
one
if
of those?
there's a penalty.
Is that one of those you call it things where if he decides he can
I'm
shoot you,
looking.
you can shoot him?
Right.
It's like that
If
whole
he's-
thing. Like if you didn't look over the side of the cliff, you're blocked. But if you
But
did,
if we're both like
bam!
right.
Do you have
I mean, that goes with the
Mechs
side
and
of it.
adjacent hexes always have LOS to each other unless one mech is completely underwater and the mech in an adjacent hex is not. You guys can see each other looking up and down the hill.
Right. Awesome.
Screw you!
No, I did not
Screw
appear
you
to have any
back!
weapons mounted to the rear.
Yay!
So
That's good.
But the fun part is you hit this part.
Yeah, the rear armor is thin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the mech I was talking about a minute ago, the rifleman, it has 2 points of armor right and left and 4 in the middle on the back. That's it. It has a ridiculous amount of firepower, but toilet paper for armor and not enough heat sinks. The problem is it's a sexy looking mech. It looks awesome. It just...
Isn't that the way that it
The
goes?
jump is what, 3?
Jump is 3.
Chances are you have a 2 in front of you just like I do.
Yeah, you do. Because you only moved a couple hexes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna put it on right there.
That works.
We know.
We know.
Yeah. In this situation,
That's
we're
a
right.
reference.
I love
them. They're a sweet looking mech, but they've got toilet paper for armor.
Nice duck feet.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, something I never realized was some of those designs they're from the anime series Macross, and I didn't realize that from the waist down, 3 out of those 4 designs are identical. They were designed to be modular.
And I didn't know that. And then I found out there's this toy that costs way more than I can budget to buy it, where you can swap the parts around and make any of those 3 Destroids out of the pieces. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But they run for like $400 or $500 because it's like the old Star Wars Droid Factory. There's so many parts. Finding one complete is next to impossible. Okay, so everyone is moved. Team that won initiative, please declare your targets and what you're shooting. This is going to be fun.
It's rather obvious, isn't it?
I would say so. Mind your heat,
But you are in a wonderful position.
Let's see. Okay.
I can only use certain things.
If you
started the round at 0,
you're at
3 heat from your jump. The rest is yours to play with. I highly recommend a couple of your medium lasers and then your missile rack. Because if those medium lasers hit that soft rear torso armor and carve a hole, the missiles might get in there and cause a crit. So if you do that, I would fire the lasers first, follow up with the missiles.
What's your heat?
3.
And when you do a torso twist, it's just what's on that.
The only thing you can crank behind you is one arm.
Got it.
So in your case with the Shadowhawk, it would be the right arm laser.
You're not going to get
Because the auto cannon's mounted in his torso.
Yep.
very often.
Right.
Just everything.
Sadly, he got in on you.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yep.
2 medium.
That was 2 cocky. That's all right.
Now, in one of those mechs that can flip arms, you could get the contents of both arms back around him.
None of them have minimum.
Oh, well then don't worry about it. Just hit with all of it.
Come on.
I mean, just take it.
Take the. Oh yeah, take the heat.
I mean,
because
you
I
could-
might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the heat's not going to
take
kill
it,
you,
yeah,
but you
that's
could.
true. Do more damage than the heat's going to do damage to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm an alpha strike.
I would.
Yeah.
If I were in that situation,
Yeah. All in.
And
I'm going with.
Can you put a bow on top of your head?
Just kick him in the head.
I have a
medium
feeling that's
lasers
with a
to
laser.
him.
So 3 medium lasers on the catapult, Alpha Strike on the Shadowhawk. So other team, what are you guys lighting up?
I'm of course going to go ahead and do a torso twist and fire with my left arm. I guess of where I'm facing. Or I can turn it with the left arm or right arm. Which one's got? Nope. That's going to be the right arm. I'll point my medium laser at you with my right arm. So, yeah, that's my attack.
Okay.
You may not be able to make that.
If this is my.
If he torso twists, he can get
I
one
mean,
arm.
You just may not be able to make it. Intervening terrain.
He's shooting it back at his
to shoot
assailant.
Oh, can you actually hit him with that?
Yeah,
But
if
he
you
can
torso
see me, I can
twist,
see
you
him.
can get one arm behind you.
One arm behind you. Okay.
Alright.
And he's got a medium laser.
Nice. I thought you were targeting me. I'm like,
Oh, no. I'm going to try to go ahead and kneecap the guy that's shooting me in the back of the head. You know, I may go down, but you know, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, let's see here.
So, 6, 5.
All right. right. So we've got stuff going on. Who wants to shoot first of the team that?
Come on, man. He's got the money shot.
Okay, so let's run the gator. Start at a 4. You jumped.
Right.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You need 9s.
9s.
So what's shooting first?
We're going laser.
Laser first.
Which one?
Right?
The medium?
Medium laser, yeah. I got 2 medium lasers.
2
2 turntables and a microphone.
Medium laser, medium laser. Right?
You got one, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
there you
there you
go.
go.
There's
They're
just
just
one down there. Yeah.
Ping, ping.
And we're going for 9.
Ooh,
10.
10.
That's
That's one hit with the medium laser.
Okay. Second laser.
No.
Miss.
Miss.
Let's see, and then let's go. We're going all in, so we're going large laser as well. Let's do the large laser now.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Medium and a large.
Medium and a large. Now we're going missiles.
SRM 6.
Oh!
Now calculate your heat.
Yeah,
That's going to be.
Well,
we got to do locations first.
But you're sweating right now.
Yep.
So 1 medium and 1 light.
I can't hear through the whines of the cooling fans.
So roll to see where that 5 points fits.
Let's go for the medium, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the medium.
So
So 5 points, 2,
6.
6. That is the right torso rear.
So that
rear is that bottom.
Right torso rear. Right over here.
Yep.
That'll
Yeah,
take the
that
whole panel out.
Takes the whole panel down. It's no extra. It doesn't roll in.
Anymore, but
Actually, it's 5 damage. You should have 1 point left. Medium laser does 5. He rolled a 6, but a medium laser does 5.
okay.
So large laser, hit that same spot and bad things happen. 9. 9 is going to be the left leg. 8 points because it's a heavy laser.
Okay.
That takes a half ton of armor off the mech. 8 points is a half ton of armor.
And then the SRM. Oh,
Heavy
did I
laser.
miss it?
Yeah. All right. That's some respectable damage.
Short range missile.
And that gives you a really tender spot on the back. Even a single SRM will go internal now. So that takes us to the Thunderbolt. You said you were firing 3 medium lasers at the catapult?
yes.
All right, run your gator.
All right.
We've got one light woods intervening. He did not move. I ran. And we're looking at medium range. Wait, nope. Hold on. Calculate that out again.
4, 5, 5.
5
hexes is medium range for a.
Yeah, you spoiled that.
That's short range for a medium laser. Medium range is 6.
No.
No, the top end of short range is 3. The top end of medium range is 6. So at 4, 5, and 6, you're at medium. At 7, 8, and 9, you're at long.
So
1, 2, 3 is short.
4,
4, 5, 6 is medium.
Okay.
7, 8, 9 is
All right. Sorry.
No problem.
No problem. No
Get
problem.
Okay.
Okay. So that would be 9s.
9s.
See if we can do it.
8.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo.
Missed it by-
I
Lift my leg
what
up,
I've
it goes
got.
underneath.
10. One hit.
One hit.
Straight will be here
For another
for another week.
One hit.
One hit.
I say
This has been a pretty impressive amount of maneuver and whiff.
So that's
one hit.
And
did you roll a 4 on location? You said
Yes.
4 on location. You're hitting. You're still coming in through the front arc. So that is a right arm hit. 5 points.
Right arm, 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, you scratched me. You done scratched me. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. 3 medium lasers.
Okay.
Ready? Just roll 3 all at once.
Go for it.
Oh, we don't know. We didn't calculate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let the dice. So start at 4.
You did not move this turn, correct?
So I should have
So
easier
that's 4.
chance.
5 for his movement.
Torso turn.
And
then 6
for
the light woods. You are in medium range, so 8. You needed 8.
All right,
So that's
twice.
1 hit,
2
hits.
So
2 locations coming in on his front side because it's still coming through this hatch.
First one is 8.
That's a torso.
The second one is 2.
Left torso, and the second one is a little more interesting.
So
5 points in the left torso.
Then 5 points in the center torso, and that is possibly a through armor critical. So you'll have to roll 2d6, get an 8 or better to land a
the center torso.
5.
He didn't get through.
So roll again to see if the critical sinks anyway. A natural 2 is a possible through armor crit. So you got to get an 8 or better for that crit to land.
Come on!
6.
Oh,
didn't get through the armor. It almost did. Didn't get through the armor. Those are the ones that suck, by the way.
Yeah.
So we've done damage. Has anybody not shot yet? Did you get your medium laser off?
Oh, no.
So 4, you ran or you jump. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You need a 9.
Missed.
Oh! All right, everybody calculate heat, and then we clear movement.
Okay.
So I've got 9 plus 2, 11, and I've got 6 on top of that, 17. I'm back down to 0.
Nice.
So I'm at 21.
Minus your heat sinks.
Oh, where's the heat sinks?
That's to take that 14 off.
Oh, that's what that is.
So you're at 7.
Plus
Oh no, don't mark them off permanently. That's only if they get damaged. They reduce your heat by that amount every round.
Oh,
how
I
much
see.
heat did you?
21,
How much heat
21.
did you start with?
21. So,
So
no,
take-
3. I started
You
out
had
at
3, so
right.
your heat is at 10 now. On this level. And then you take the penalty for whatever 10 is, and the penalty's
Okay.
beneath it.
Okay. How did we get it to the 10 though?
Because you started with a 3 heat. Did you carry over heat from last round?
I don't think so. No, because it starts over each round, right?
Well, no. If
And,
there's
actually, you
the
shouldn't have
excess
carried.
doesn't.
You didn't do enough last round to carry any heat.
no, nothing would have carried
Right.
over.
So you would not be on the 3.
3, you would be, or you would be on 7.
Right.
So basically what you do is, whatever that number is, the 14, minus your heat, and then that's your heat level.
So 7. I got it.
And then that incurs, you would have minus 1 movement point, but that's it.
That's it. Okay.
So just remember this turn.
That's
you
for
have,
this round. Okay.
just remember that. Yeah, you're.
Got it.
I'm rolling initiative.
All right.
7 rocks.
7!
Craps, baby. 11.
That doesn't look good.
Okay.
That's
all right.
So,
either
either
Flynn
Flynn
or
or
Jim needs to declare movement first.
I will go first.
I certainly would. If I was piloting that catapult, I'd give it up to get my buddy out of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to run.
Whoa!
Maximum 6, right?
Yes. 5, and that would be 5, 6 if you went into the woods.
5, 6.
Interesting.
Okay.
I can't rotate or anything.
You can torso twist to face this way, and then this becomes your front arc. Now, remember though, that catapult is built without lower arms and hands.
Right.
So it can crank those missiles around behind it.
Oh, cool.
The range will suck if somebody gets close, but you can still shoot.
Yeah. We're looking at almost 3 hours here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, he's going to come up behind me.
Why did you count 2 for this one?
Sorry, I was
So
gonna.
that would be
I was
1,
gonna
2,
turn,
3.
I was gonna turn, but I decided.
Okay,
not
I just
to.
didn't want you to cheat yourself out of a movement point.
So that was a. I was here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
So 3.
Walking, just walking.
Yeah, but you
Did
move
you
3
walk or
hexes,
run?
so it's a +1.
Did you walk or run?
Oh, I ran.
Okay.
So that black die with a
He'd
2
be a 2
showing.
because that's a max that they can crank. That we can crank out.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Ooh. He can get the left arm missiles on you.
Okay, and you can go ahead and jump 5 that I'm aware of.
Actually, if he torso twists, he can get both missile racks on you because he just turns the opposite way and rear fires the missiles.
Yeah, it's fine, but I'm
right. You're in his face.
They're long-range missiles. I can't shoot them.
You can, but the numbers are going to be
suck.
terrible.
Yeah. It may be too much.
Let me see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You need 10s to hit.
Yeah. Let me tell you about 10s.
Let's start walking.
Oh man, I was about to quote Tourette's guy, but if I do, we'll have to edit it out.
Right. It's copyright infringement.
Right.
This live, baby. We ain't edited nothing.
Oh yeah.
4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Which puts you, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so having moved a total of 3, that's that +1 plus the fact that I ran, right? Or is it just plus? Is it just +1 for moving 3?
+1 for moving 3, yes.
Yep.
It would be 2 if there was a jump involved, but there's not. So this is turning into a fur ball.
I'm on level 3.
At least have a little bit of intervening cover.
I'm going to.
You can still get.
Well, I mean, I'm -1 movement right now, but I could double team this guy with you, and then he's blocked with that level. Is he? 1, 1, 2, 1. Partially blocked.
There's going to be some cover here.
Yeah.
You are 2 up, but you're way over there.
Yeah.
So there might be, if you can hit me because of you're higher than the cover, I could hit you back. That's what it rolls down to.
So is there ever a self-destruct button
You can.
where you can blow yourself up?
In the advanced rules, there absolutely is.
Yeah.
You can detonate your own mech, and it will take out anything near you.
It just takes it out.
Well,
You're
there's
still gonna
math
be prone to
involved
getting
for
hit
the
from
size of the
behind them.
engine and everything else,
Right,
but
that's true.
they put the rule in
There's-
after
I
there
mean,
was a
help it.
scene in one of the novels where
Unless I
someone
ran.
did that.
I mean, you could just go get
He-
in his
You get
face.
kamikazes everywhere.
Yeah, he lured a bunch of enemy
wanna do
troops
something
into
really
a
fun?
ravine, and then he detonated
Put
his own
yourself
engine and
back where you
brought the
were.
ravine down on them.
But you can't shoot the ravine down on it.
Jump on him.
You could, but it'd take a long time. A long time. But yeah, no, he used he blew his fusion engine and
You
it
haven't
brought the whole
taken
thing
a
down.
single point of damage.
I know.
Let's see what
Yeah,
happens
let's
when
see
you
what
death from
happens.
above.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Let's. I'm gonna. How do I jump on him?
Death from above.
You want a death from above?
Yes.
All right, you simply declare you're doing a death from above. You move here, put the red die showing a 1 because you haven't gone far enough to generate anything else.
There's one.
And now, so here's the thing. This is treated as a charge. You cannot make any weapon attacks this turn. He can try to shoot at you. Oh, and here's the hilarious part. If he could make you fail a pilot check, you would just fall, right? Because you're trying to come in a controlled fashion. But even if the Shadowhawk hits with every weapon it's got, it can't generate 20 points of damage. So there's no way, even if he hits with everything, he can force that pilot check. So what happens is he can fire at you as you're coming in, like, oh, crap! Because physical
phase happens after weapons fire phase.
But then
what happens is in physical phase, we will flip to the death from above rules and see if you come down on him.
So there's
a roll to hit. If you hit, you deliver a ton of damage to the upper torso of his mech. And it's all coming in on the punch table, meaning 1 in 6 chance of hitting the cockpit. Then your mech takes damage to its legs. Then both of you make pilot checks to see if either of you stay on your feet. In most cases, both of the mechs
go down.
Go down.
But it'll be
like
spectacular.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why it's got to be done. It's a tutorial, right? Right?
Okay. So let's do this.
So you
can't shoot, but you can.
Right.
Everyone else has moved. Which team won initiative? Your team won initiative this time. So you guys declare fire. Again, you can't shoot, so it's up to you to declare fire.
I'm all in, except for my LRM.
So everything but the LRM.
3 mediums and a large.
On the catapult, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys, what are you shooting?
I'm gonna probably unload.
You're gonna unload on him as he comes in.
It's like a last ditch, chance. Even long range missiles. I mean,
everything.
Long range missiles.
Walking
fire.
1 point. You're
too close.
You're Eric Bana in Star Trek. Fire everything. And Jim.
Well, I'm just gonna. What you said. I'm gonna torso turn.
Flip
the missiles around and fire. I can't use the lasers, can I?
No, because they're not in the arms.
Right.
So yes, you could torso us this way,
right.
Rock the missiles backwards, and hit. All right, so let's.
Not gonna happen.
Let's roll. It could. I've seen stranger things happen in the game.
Who do we start with?
Well, you guys won initiative, so let's go ahead and roll. Well, you have no fire. You do have fire. So run your gator. You 4.
All right, medium lasers first.
They're in short range.
All right.
So.
And no, is he in cover?
He is standing
in Lightwoods.
Lightwoods.
He's got some cover.
5, 6, 7.
And
Looks
like I got 7s to hit.
Plus range.
Wait, yeah, I just.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 for his movement and 1 for the woods.
He ran.
Yes.
So
that's a
7s. You coming up with the same number?
No. Okay. 4 for your gunnery.
Right.
5 because you walked.
Yep.
6,
7 for his movement. Plus 1 more for the Lightwoods is 8.
Good. Out of the out of the mid range.
Putting this in wrong.
You're gonna roll 3 7s. That's what you're gonna be doing.
8s.
Yep.
8s.
You got 8s.
2 out.
All right.
All right, and this is coming in on the left side table, which is good because it's not the back table.
Yep,
that's left side zone.
All right.
Short range.
Yes.
Is the app
off? What's the app telling you?
I'm coming up as 7.
You're not the light woods.
I
am counting 1 light woods.
Okay.
Gunnery 4.
4.
You
walk. That's 1 more, so 5.
1 wood.
1 woods is 6, and 2 for his movement. 7, 8. His movement die is showing a 2. I don't know what it's doing, but 8 would be the number. 3 would be the number of the count. The number of the count shall be 3. All right, so medium lasers first.
Yep.
Go for it.
Miss.
Oh, come on. Roll 8s.
Hit 1 medium laser. And a second medium laser. What else you got coming in?
And a large laser.
And a large laser. Whoa, that's a hit.
Okay.
So 2 mediums and a large coming in. Let's roll location. That's going to be on the left side table.
First medium. 11.
11. Right leg, 5 points.
Second one, 4. Medium.
Left arm, 5 points. And 8 big points from the large laser.
To 7.
That is left torso, 7 points.
Left torso.
It would be center if it was straight up, but we're on the left side, so it's left. Okay. All right, so boom, boom, boom.
Nicely distributed.
Next damage.
Unaffected.
That's it.
Okay. So I calculated out, and I think we've got 7 for short range missiles and medium laser. Long range missiles don't work at this as right at my face.
Right.
And The autocannon is...
Yeah, because that would be 13 then.
Yeah.
All right, so roll your shots.
Okay. So we're going to go with laser, missile, autocannon.
All right, so 7, 7, 9.
Yep, 9 is the autocannon.
Yeah, because the AC is in minimum range.
Autocannon, laser, missile.
So
laser missed. And this
7, the missiles hit, and the autocannon hit. So now, this is the first time someone's hit with an SRM. That's an SRM 2, correct?
Yes.
So roll again on an 8 or better. Both missiles connect. Otherwise, only one missile hits. One missile hits. So roll a location for that missile.
Right in the 10.
10. Left arm, 2 points. The missiles don't do a whole lot of damage individually, but they add up. And roll to see where that autocannon hits. That'll be 5 points.
5 points right to the 6, buddy.
Right torso, 5 points.
5 points?
Yep. So you're 55 tons of intact battle plate heading in. Of ouch. All right, Jim. So 4, you ran 5, 6, 7, and you're... So you need 10s.
I need 10s, okay. Why is there an extra?
Because I have an extra.
10.
Hit! Miss. So 1 did connect.
Yep.
Roll to see how many of those missiles connect. 2 dice. This is an LRM-15.
4 hit.
That is 6 of those missiles hit. So 2 locations. 1 will do 5 damage. 1 will do 1.
9.
9 is
5.
the left leg for 5 points.
And 7.
7 is center torso for 1 point. Ugh.
Not much. And that's anybody got heat problems?
We have the death from above coming
Death
in.
from above created some heat problems.
Well, the heat hasn't happened yet. This is now the physical phase.
Oh.
We haven't done any physical before.
Fisticuffs.
His mech is coming down feet first on his mech.
All right.
From the air.
Yeah,
I want you both to fall off the cliff.
All right.
Silence.
Death from above! All right, death from above, attack! All right, so you've got it coming in. When calculating the target number, the attacker must always apply the +3 for jumping. So, all right, your pilot is 5. You're jumping 6, 7, 8. And Flynn has a +1 for moving his 9. You need to roll a 9 or better to land this. Let's see it happen. Let's see it happen because it would be awesome.
We know what's going to happen here.
Oh! Okay, that is a missed. That is a missed DFA. Let's see here. On an unsuccessful attack, the attacker automatically falls, taking damage as though it had fallen 2 levels.
Oh.
Roll on the facing after a fall table to determine facing. Hit location is always rear. All right, roll a single die.
Single die. 5.
Okay, so your facing after a fall is 2 hex sides left. So your mech falls in this hex, facing 2 hex sides to the left, and takes 11 damage to its back. So that'll be in 3 locations, 5, 5, and 1. So roll 2 dice to see where that first 5 points...
Can he be on multi-level? Oh, they're both level 1.
No, yeah, he's in this hex, where his base was. So roll 2 dice for the first 5 points.
6.
That is right torso rear for 5.
That's not good.
5 more.
5.
Pile driver. Oops, missed.
That's why it's a desperation attack. 11! That's going to be left arm. There is no rear, just left arm. Torso is the only thing that has a front and rear.
So he's in this hex?
Yes, where his base is. He's in this hex next to Flynn. That's 5, and then another roll for a single point.
Again.
So 1 point to that same.
Yep.
All right, now you've got to make a pilot check. Your pilot skill is 5. So roll your dice and exceed that number, or else you take damage for falling. All right, you're good to go. So you made what we call the seatbelt check. You slam down, but your pilot is in his command couch with his harness, and he's okay. Yeah, this is not fun.
So wait a second. They designed this game for big robots to punch each other, but then they make pile drivers suck?
Yeah, apparently so.
Wait, he gets to get shot at first.
Yeah.
And then he misses, and he takes more damage than if he would have just stood there.
Yeah, death from above is, again, it's a desperation attack.
I'm just saying.
Now, when it lands...
If you wanted punchy robots, then you wouldn't penalize that much.
Let's roll initiative.
All right.
Nines.
9?
It was fun to do, though.
I mean, yeah, we have to do it.
5. So their team has initiative.
Back to where we were.
All right.
Okay.
So, one mech on your side needs to move. And since you are down, it takes 2 movement points to attempt to stand. You've got to throw your pilot or skill or better to get back on your feet. It shouldn't be too difficult because your mech's not... It doesn't have any critical hits or anything on it.
Yeah, so let's stand up.
Walk, run, which
Wait.
one?
So, how much heat? Just the jump, right?
Just the jump. So he's back at...
You should be back at 0 for your
You're
heat.
back at 0 heat.
I'm at 2 for mine, so I didn't hit it. Is everybody else good? We didn't calculate it out. I think we got wrapped up. I think everyone else was fine.
Yeah, I just don't.
Yeah.
I didn't hardly do any.
Yeah, because those 2 missile racks were 10 points,
So you're
and
not
you've got
minus
extra
1
heat
movement
sinks.
anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that goes away.
All right. So, walking or running?
Let's...
Can you jump?
No, not from the ground.
Yeah, we gotta scrape it.
That would be kind of
Just
hilarious.
right off the
wouldn't it?
cliff, like Iron Man that stuff.
I'm facing this way?
Yes.
Okay. So if I get up...
You can face any direction you want to face when you stand. You just have to make the die roll.
Yeah. Okay. Then let's... I'm gonna walk.
Okay, so you have 5 movement points for walking. Roll to see if you can stand. You need to beat your own pilot skill, which is a 5. And you're up.
2 points.
Bring your mech up, facing any direction you want it to face. And then you have 3 movement points left from the walk.
Let's see.
Ooh, face off.
Yeah, you
Level
guys
1,
could just
level
unload on
1.
each other at close range.
You can't walk backwards down a level.
Right. I meant to
Now, since
pick up this way.
since you guys are
Okay,
in
I'm good
close,
with that.
yeah.
Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay,
Is that walking, running?
that was a walk.
Same thing to me.
Yeah.
That was a walk. Yeah.
You're doing a 1 because you only move 2 hexes.
I'm gonna put that
Okay,
right there.
so now one of your team moves.
I'll move.
All right. What you gonna do when they come for you?
I'm gonna call a lawyer, like any sane person would do. I'm gonna walk. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Okay.
All right.
I like that.
So that's you were here.
Yeah.
3. That's 1 modifier. All right. This could be interesting. All right. Yeah.
My turn, yeah.
Yes, it is.
What you gonna do?
He's just gonna run right up
1,
behind me and jack me.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so the ideal range is 7. Is that correct?
For LRMs. For LRMs. Everything else, get as close as you can. But well, particle cannons and auto cannons can have minimum ranges too. But
I
with
don't
the
really
with the
have
missiles,
LRMs. I got 1.
the missile boats want to be at 7.
Okay.
Because there are mechs. The
He
catapult
moved-
is one of
He
them.
moved 5, so he's running
Oh,
in a heavy mech.
Oh, I walked. Couldn't I walk?
Yeah, you can walk 4.
well, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd still
And a
be
turn.
here, but you can torso twist
Yeah.
and still hit him.
Yeah.
So that's a walk. Okay.
But he did torso twist.
Right. You don't move the miniature when you torso twist. You just declare that you're doing it.
Oh, okay.
Walking.
Because the direction of the feet.
Walking's right here.
Well, I'm looking at the heat.
Oh.
Walking's only one heat.
Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't say that anywhere.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh. I can still go ahead and do it at 6. I'll work with that.
Okay.
What would you like to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was just a walk.
Oh.
That opens up my back though to him.
Yeah.
So probably not that. So 4. I'll probably do a run in here. 5, 6.
7. And then you may as well turn 8. Yeah, there you go. Now if he fires at you, it's coming in on your left side, not your rear.
Exactly.
All right, so place your movement die.
Okay, so I did run. And I covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 2.
Yep, 2 on a black die. All right, everyone has moved. Winning team, declare your fire.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
Light him up.
Yep.
Both LRMs.
Both LRMs and the lasers too. I'm gonna do an alpha strike.
All right, Flynn, what's your fire?
On who?
On the Wolverine.
So if I did a torso twist, I could unload on him too, right?
Yes, you could. Because that makes these 3 hexes your front hexes.
Right.
And so right up the line.
Okay. Or I can go ahead and try to protect your back.
No, don't worry about me.
Okay. Now in that case, I'll do a torso twist and alpha strike this guy too.
Okay, this team, where's your fire? And what is it?
Looks like you're the puppy.
Let's see,
3 medium lasers and 1 heavy laser to
The catapult. Okay. And the Wolverine.
2 medium lasers.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to torso twist to hit him.
Yep. But you can, once again, you can hit him with everything if you torso twist.
Yeah. I'm gonna do 2 medium lasers and SRMs.
You got it. Okay. So the team that won initiative gets to fire first. So
I'm gonna fire first. Let me do
so-
the 3 LR, the 2 LRMs.
Sure. So 4, you walked. 5, his movement's 6, and you are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you need 7s.
7.
Hit.
8. Hit.
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 So roll for number of missiles coming in twice.
11.
Oh God, that's all of them. 15 missiles. And the
And-
second one?
9.
9 is going to be 12 missiles. So we have 5 5-point locations and a 2-point location. So let's roll them. 5 points coming in.
6.
That's still front table. Okay, right torso 5. That's first one.
Right torso.
5. All right, second one.
9.
Right, left leg 5. Third one.
10.
Left arm 5.
7.
Center torso 5.
5.
Right leg 5. Let me see. That's 15 and 1 2-point location.
7.
Center torso 2. And you owe a pilot check because you took more than 20 damage. So at the end of the fire phase, we see if you stay on your feet. All right.
I got 3 lasers.
Oh yeah. Roll the lasers.
3 medium lasers coming in. What's the lasers? Still 9?
Let me see. That's going to be medium range. Let me recalculate because there's no minimum range. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're actually 8s.
8s. Okay.
A little bit better.
Here's the first one. 4.
Miss.
Second one.
Hit.
10. 5.
Miss. So one more 5-point location.
5.
That is right leg 5 more.
Man, I hit him everywhere except for. If only you just roll like 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11. The guy's destroyed, right?
Yep. Center torso comes up a lot because 7's the most common number on 2d6.
Yeah.
But you peppered him. That leg, the leg and the arm are starting to look a little.
The arms The arm's looking bad.
Can't scratch your back anymore? Can't comb your hair?
It just hurts when I do that.
So don't do that. All right. Flynn, what do you got?
SRM, LRM, 8 and 7.
Go for it. Miss hit.
Okay. So that's long range.
LRM 5. Roll 2 dice to see how many missiles hit.
6.
6 missiles on a 5. 3 hit. So 3 damage to the 8. That is the left torso. 3 damage.
Okay. And then.
Left torso, not left arm.
Oh, that's right.
And then the autocannon and the medium laser.
Hold on.
What was
I
one,
think
two,
you
three?
got the first. Was it just the one?
Just the one.
Okay.
First one missed.
Yeah. So autocannon, medium laser, 6, 8.
Got it.
1 hit, 1 miss.
All right. So that's 5 points either way.
The autocannon hit. And the 9.
9. That is a left leg hit. 5 points.
Left leg. 5.
Now both legs are.
I'm limping a little bit.
All right. Your team. Time to return fire.
Come on, man. Get some
All right.
some pain back.
Yep.
What do you got?
Let's see. Medium laser
On who?
on
On me?
The Shadowhawk.
Yes.
So 4, walk 5, 6, 7. 7. And range is medium. 9 for a medium laser.
9 for medium laser.
Miss.
Yes, another medium laser.
That's a hit.
10.
Yep.
And then missiles.
SRM 6. Miss.
Oh,
Damn.
yes.
Okay, 5 points on the left side table. 8. That is center torso, 5 points. All right, and now the Thunderbolt.
All right. Starting with medium, and it should be 8s.
All right, this is going to be coming in on the left side. Go for it. Medium laser.
First medium laser. 7.
Miss.
8.
Hit. So
One
one
hit.
medium laser hits. And
2.
heavy laser hits.
No, that's
Oh,
a
third medium laser. Oh, so 2
And-
medium lasers. So 2 5-point locations coming in on the left side table. That is a 3 left leg, 5 points.
Left leg, haven't hit it yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And a 5 is left arm, 5 points.
Left arm, 5 points. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that left arm's kind of whining a bit.
Okay,
It's
is
got
that
some
all
dents in
fire?
it.
That's all fire.
Did it? So I know you took more than 20 points. You took 10.
Yeah, I probably overheated.
I
it.
neither.
You took 5.
I didn't
So you're the only one who has a pilot check. It's piloting +1, so you need a 6 or better. No! Okay, roll 1 die for the facing after a fall table. 4 is opposite direction on the rear, so your mech goes thump. It takes a 5-point hit and a 1-point hit, so roll 2 dice. 5 points to the center torso rear, 5 points.
Center torso rear.
Mm-hmm. And then 1 more point coming in. So when your mech falls, you take damage equal to your tonnage divided by 10, round up. So
I got it.
Wolverine's a 55-ton mech, 6 points of damage.
7.
Center torso rear, 1 point. All right, now you got to make a seatbelt check. So roll your piloting
Okay.
or better to avoid taking damage. You're good. So you are on the ground. Pilot, no further worse for the wear, but the mech is. All right.
I've got 19 heat data. So I would avoid an ammo expenditure, I think is what
Wait, you're overheated by 19?
yeah, I'm up to 19.
After
After my heat sinks, I'm down to 4.
So you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Wow.
You subtract the heat sinks first.
Did I move? I didn't move, did I?
No, wait,
Yeah,
you
you
walked. So +1. So you're at 5 then.
Minus 1 movement point.
Minus 1 movement point. So you're overheating a little.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, guys, clear movement. Let's see.
7.
All right.
Initiative check, please.
A lot of red ones there.
Let's try these boys. They've given us some luck in the past. Not today.
5. All right, one of you guys needs to move first.
I'm gonna stand up.
All right, walking or running?
Just walking.
All right, toss your 2 dice. And you're back on your feet facing any direction you want to face. All right, now that leaves you with 3 movement points.
Let's go 1, 2, 3.
Okay, now place your white die with a 1 showing. Actually, with a 6 showing because that was a turn. Fascinating. All right.
No, you want to go?
I will. 1,
Oh, wow. I just...
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
6 is as far as that mech can go.
Okay, so 6. I can also.
You can torso twist. That's an interesting move. All right. Black die with a 1. Okay.
All right.
So Thunderbolt.
Interesting to see what a Thunderbolt does.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you're kind of stuck.
That's me. That's where I want to be.
He's on a level 1 on the other side of a level 3. You can't see him.
Oh, well then, bink! I'll use my last movement to.
Okay.
Okay.
You can't see me either, so.
This is not going to be good.
Looking at maybe 22 more minutes.
All right. We can get a round or 2 more in and see where we're at.
Just going to go ahead and turn and face off.
Oh! Draw!
Okay.
We're just gonna shoot in a circle.
All right, so you guys declare fire first.
Right. Okay.
Why don't we make this a gentlemanly combat and go till the first person loses a limb?
Alpha strike.
On the Thunderbolt. Okay.
Actually, no. Are you attacking this one? Probably?
Yeah. Oh, I have to. That's the one I can attack.
Then I'm going to alpha strike.
Yeah, let's see if we can take him out.
All right, so you guys are...
Fire.
Jim, what are you firing? Just the lasers?
I'll do everything.
Oh! Okay.
Even though my long range missiles are penalized.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so they're both concentrating fire on the
he
Wolverine.
jumps down, falls down, gets up, gets hammered, falls down, gets up, gets hammered.
Yes.
I'm beginning to like this. Yeah. It works well.
Okay.
Bam, 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 bam.
What will you shoot at?
I'm gonna go alpha all the way here.
All right.
Same for me.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Time to take a medium mech down this turn.
Nice.
Well.
Maybe the dice will
This is the
finally
time.
be rolling in your favor.
All right. So they had initiative. They declared fire first. They resolved fire first. So
I'm gonna go ahead and shoot.
So 4, 5, 6, and you're shooting here.
Yeah.
And no movement there. You need 6s with the medium lasers, and 9s with the missiles.
Okay. Here's the missiles. 9.
Holy
and 7.
Okay, so 1 flight of missiles hit. Yeah. How many lasers did you fire?
I haven't fired the lasers yet. I'm gonna fire all 3 lasers.
Okay.
But don't we determine how many missiles hit?
Yes, we do. So go ahead and roll to see how many missiles.
9.
9 on a 15 is 12 missiles incoming.
Okay, let's just go ahead and resolve those then.
Sure, 2 5s and a 2. So first 5-point location is 8, and that's coming in on the front table, left torso 5.
6.
6 is right torso 5.
4.
4 is 2 points to the right right arm.
2 points?
2 points, right arm. All right, and now you got 3 lasers attempting to come in, and they only need 6s.
6s, okay. 6.
Hit. Miss.
And the location is an 8.
That is left torso, 5 points.
Oh, man.
Locations are filling up. All right, Flynn, what do you got?
All right. It looks like 4, 7, and 4.
Okay.
SRM. Then that's my LRM, and this is my AC.
Okay.
And 7's here, 4's on
Okay.
the other
Shabunga. Hit,
two.
miss.
Yep. I only hit on the SRM.
All right, roll 2 dice to see if 1 or both missiles hit. 7, 1 missile hits. 2-point location.
And
8.
In the 8.
That is a left torso, 2 points.
Yeah, then I
How you doing,
followed
Chad?
All right.
Oh, come on! What do you mean, all right?
Oh, I got plenty of.
I'm demoralized now.
Made it.
Okay, and that's
With
the
The medium laser. Yeah.
that's the medium
Total 4.
laser.
I didn't have any penalties because I didn't move.
Wow.
He didn't have any. It wasn't
Yeah.
penalties because he didn't move enough.
That shows you what a difference all the
Right
maneuver
in the
made.
opening.
Why all the whiffing was happening early in the game. Because
Yeah.
when these mechs just stand still, they...
It's a broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
I hate
Okay. So, that's 5 points to the...
5 points to the
5. Right leg, 5 points.
5 points right leg. Okay.
And you owe another pilot check, obviously, at the end of this round. Because these guys just unloaded.
Again.
I can't believe that LRM-15 hit at that range. That's uncanny. Okay, so, y'all's turn. You guys have it?
Yeah, let
Pilot
me
check.
go ahead and counter.
Do it.
Pilot check.
Crush your
Do I do a
enemies.
pilot check now or later?
At the end of the phase, you do the pilot check. All damage, all weapon fire is Simo.
So it should be Simo,
And then you make... But that could screw you up. Like, if you had set up to do a kick or a punch or something like that, and you fail the pilot check at the end of the weapon phase, you're in the dirt when the physical phase happens. So, all right. Go ahead and make your shots.
Right.
So,
So I just got
4, you walked, 5, and were you shooting here or here?
Here.
5.
Everybody, I think, is concentrating on that.
You have 5s.
Aren't you relatively unhurt?
5s. So let's go large
Yeah.
large laser first.
All right, large laser. Hit.
Hit.
About 1/3
Let's
more hit
go
than you.
medium laser.
Hit.
Hit.
Medium laser.
Hit.
Hit.
And missiles.
Hit.
Hit.
All right, so roll for location for the large laser.
Large laser.
10, that is 8 points to the left arm.
8 points to the left arm.
Now 2 5-point locations. 8. 5 points to the left torso.
5 points to the left torso.
5 points to the right arm. Now roll to see how many of those SRMs hit. 2 dice. And 8. That is 4. Count them, 4 2-point missiles. So let's see where they go.
Nice.
First one goes to right arm, 2 points.
Okay.
Second one goes to left torso, 2 points.
All right.
Third one, 3, right arm, 2 points. And final missile, 5 is right leg, 2 points. And that's 8 plus 10 plus that. You owe a pilot check as well at the end of the fire phase. You haven't shot yet, though.
No.
So go ahead and shoot.
These will all buff out.
We're
Until
gonna
I land on my back.
start with medium lasers.
He's
on the-
Battle
I
Mech
will need
Bondo.
8s to hit with medium lasers.
Okay.
No. No. You got lucky. Jesus.
Those dice don't like you very much.
No, they don't. Large laser. What the?
Wait,
Okay.
that might hit. You needed an 8, correct? Based on it being medium range. You're in short range with the large laser.
That was a 6. Am I in short range?
You are, because short range for the medium lasers or heavy laser is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. 1 hit.
So all your
Large
mediums
laser.
whiffed, but your large hit.
And now the LRM 10.
That's going to be a harder shot. You're at
It's-
5, so it's going to be plus 2 to short range. You'd need an 8.
That's what I was needing before, an 8.
Yep.
Got him. 2 pretty big hits.
Okay, so we'll start with the large laser.
All right, 8 points to the 11. Left arm, 8 points.
Left arm. 1,
And then
2,
number of
3,
missiles hitting on an LRM 10.
6, 7.
Oh!
Wait, 8?
8.
Okay, I have now filled up that entire arm.
Exactly?
Exactly.
All right, roll 2d6 to see how many of that LRM 10 connects.
5.
5 on an LRM 10 is 6 missiles, so we have a 5 point
And a 1 point.
Okay.
Roll the 5 point.
5 point goes to 5.
Right leg, 5 points.
And the other one,
right leg.
6.
Right torso, 1 point.
And then right torso. Boom! That's my 10:30 alarm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the end of fire phase. Both you guys make pilot checks.
You know, you say that like I can do this. Right? See?
Oh! Flynn takes a dirt nap. Roll a single die.
And the 1.
Same direction on your face.
Okay.
All right. So you take 6 points of damage to the front.
Roll 2 dice to see where 5 points of it goes.
And the
10. 5 points go to the left arm.
Left arm feeds over into left torso, right?
Actually, it goes to the internal on the left arm. So see the skeleton?
there it is.
Mark 5 points
1,
there.
2,
That is a possible critical.
4, 5. Okay.
And then roll to see where the 1 point goes.
And that 1 point goes to the
10, left arm.
Yeah.
2 possible criticals.
2 possible criticals.
Roll that 2d6 twice to see if you critted yourself.
All right.
No crit. 7, no crit. You got
Okay.
really lucky. Roll again for the seatbelt check to see if your pilot...
Yes, your pilot's
Barely.
fine.
Barely.
All right. So no
How's it
physical,
supposed to be this
no
close?
physical this round.
Seems to be blood pooling in the inside
Sparks
of
are
your...
flying off.
Yeah.
Right. Look, you know. No.
Yeah.
So do we want to do another round, or we want to wrap it there, Jim?
Well, we should wrap it because I think you have some closing comments, and I want to.
I was
include
gonna
that.
I was
Sure.
gonna give you the option to withdraw since we're
Well, and indeed, that is how it happens if you're role playing through the scenario. Again, mech warriors don't like to grind because, you know, we've had some games where
Combat
combat
didn't even happen. The two forces get on the field, and one mercenary commander looks at the other and goes, "Look, you don't want to pay for repairs.
I just got a new paint
I
job.
don't want to pay for repairs. We both know who's going to win this one. So why don't we just fire some shots up in the air? You've satisfied your contract, and we all go about our day." And so it's terribly disappointing for the players, but the team captain's like, "Yes! We get to add to the bottom line, baby. Nothing like a garrison contract." So, yeah, the game took a little longer, but you know when people get used to the game, it moves faster.
We were moving pretty quick toward the end.
Toward the end, we were moving pretty quick. The teams were fairly balanced, and I will say from a you know, how exciting was this for a spectator? Now, all the maneuver might have been a little slow, but from an in-character perspective, you guys did a great job of preserving your own mechs and looking for that opening, looking for that maneuver. You know, because like you guys did a great job of staying away from the catapult when the catapult was exactly where a catapult should be. Missile boat mechs like catapults and archers and stuff like that, they tend to find a hillside with some tree cover and just...
I mean, from a tactical standpoint, probably getting to that hill there in the center of the map and then being able to just rain over most of it. Probably
See, that's the interesting thing for me. These are brand new maps to me. I've never played these maps before. I've played the original maps so many times I know where all the hiding holes are.
How comprehensive were we in applying the rules? We hit the heat sinks, we hit the pilot controls.
We hit pretty much everything. There was even a death from above. We did not do a lot of physical. Physicals can be interesting because punches do 1/10 of your battle mech's weight in damage. For instance, those 55-tonners would land a 6-point punch, and all of that comes in from the waist up. So you're more likely to hit the cockpit if you do that. Obviously, if you want to salvage a mech, you want to take the cockpit out and then
hit him in the face.
Right, kill the pilot, drag the rest of the mech off. Because the more damage you do to a mech, the less it's worth if you salvage it. So we didn't do that. Kicks are interesting because they do a ton of damage, and taking the leg off a mech is a pretty sweet way to get one out of the fight. But again, the Charlie Brown rule. If you miss the kick, you're the one making the pilot check or fall over. We didn't do any charges or shoving.
But again, the death from above is really the fun one. That's the one everybody's like, oh shit, is he going to hit? Oh yeah, death from above. So we hit that. We got all of the weapons into the game for the different mechanics. Lasers do solid damage, but they are high heat. Autocannons, one point of heat, and you're throwing damage 18 hexes away. It's a nice, efficient weapon. It just doesn't hit very hard.
Right.
There are heavier and lighter autocannons in the game. The AC-2 goes much farther. In fact, it goes farther than long-range missiles, but it only does 2 damage. The AC-20 has the range of a medium laser, but hits for 20 points of damage. It's also 200,000 C-bills every time you pull the trigger, so your company commander get really pissed off if you miss a lot. But yes, we hit most of the rules. We got some jumping in there. Critical hits didn't come up as often. So the different... Yeah,
we didn't get to the internal structure. We stopped as soon as we blew off plating.
We got
into his internal structure. Yeah. And one of you, I think Jim, rolled a through armor crit,
but then didn't confirm the crit.
Right.
So the way the through armor crits work, if you roll a 2 on the location table, it's either a center, right, or left torso through armor critical, just depending on where the shot's coming from. What happens there is you mark the armor as normal, but then you roll again as if you had gotten through the armor. On an 8 or better, you've crit something. So on an 8 or 9, you hit 1 critical hit. On a 10 or 11, you hit 2, and on a
3, or on a 12, you hit either 3 criticals if it's torso, or if you're blowing through the armor in a limb, that blows the limb clean off. So those through armor crits can do terrible things early in the game when everybody's still got fresh armor. Remember that story I was talking about earlier about always take the shot with the medium laser? What had happened in that point was somebody in a little 20-ton Wasp was fighting a Shadowhawk just like the one Flynn had. It was untouched. He calced out his gator and said, man, I need boxcars just to hit. And his teammate goes, well, go ahead and roll the shot. It's just heat. So what does he do? He rolls boxcars. Okay, where did that shot hit? Snake Eyes. Through armor crit. Okay, well, let's see if it's a crit. Boxcars again. So he gets 3 locations. One of them was ammo. Boom! Untouched Shadowhawk goes up from a single laser shot. So we didn't get into the critical hits, but they can end the game fast. I've been in a couple of tournaments where a lucky cockpit critical has just taken somebody out in the first round of fire. And as the technology creeps up in BattleTech, in this version, there's only one weapon that can take the head clean off in a single shot, no matter how big the mech is, and that's that autocannon 20. But as the tech goes up, there are more and more weapons that can deliver
that kind of damage in a single shot. And so there's a lot more chance to just drop a mech. So,
excellent.
It's nasty.
All right. That was a nice presentation.
Yeah,
I think
this is
the good thing.
Standard BattleTech rules. This is what you'll find if you play tournaments. And
this is the version that Catalyst Games has released.
Yes, this is the new box set that just came out from Catalyst. There is a beginner box, which we played last time. This comes with 2 mech miniatures and some simple rules. There is no internals. There is no critical hits. You run out of armor and that limb is blown off. It's a very fast, very let's learn the game. Then this is the full rules, what we just played, and they're about to kickstart. Remember I mentioned the tech goes up at a certain point. Mm-hmm. They're about to kickstart the Clan War box set, which will have more mechs with higher technology levels. So I am personally a fan of the Mad Max, busted-ass 300-year-old battle mechs. But there's a lot of players that love all the high-tech that comes with the Clan storyline. So they're going to be bringing out more miniatures and more stuff.
Pretty cool.